councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
Let me finish. That's all I would say.
Okay, welcome back everyone. Anonymous Bites are back. We got some updates about Cuba, Haiti, we got Free Commander X updates, and we have our opinions about anonymous messages against whatever, in favor of cryptocurrency, whatever. Hey, if you're in the chat, please help to share this around. We're all dealing with shadow ban still. It's getting really bad. I checked all our accounts. Every single account is ghost banned, shadow banned on that shadowban.eu site. So, really, if you share it, even use like a quote tweet so it at least gets out. This thing. Thanks, everyone.
We do need the help on that. We just had Matt Orthola on Slow News Day, video editor who does satirical videos at politics, comedy, pop culture. YouTube went back 7 years and yanked a video of his and gave him a suspension or a ban, Jones?
I thought it was a suspension.
But anyway, for like a 7-year-old fake Starbucks commercial that he made. When YouTube's algorithm or when YouTube has you in their sites, it doesn't matter what your fucking content is. He was banned for or suspended for medical misinformation, and what he showed was a CNN clip of a Senate hearing. And that's what gave him, his channel, a medical misinformation.
That's a bore. I mean, watching the Senate talk is just a bore. pretty much the same as an army, by the way. A lot of yapping and no action. Am I right?
Yeah, so censorship is like getting really bad. It's like on YouTube, it's so fucked up now. Yeah, it's like, and that people are still accepting this. That's surprising to me too. Like at first it was just us, right? Now everyone is being censored, and like people are just like compliant with this. They just accept everything. Like
It's not just us anymore.
no.
It's now everybody.
Why is everyone just accepting this? Why aren't people like in masses leaving these sites right now and just like doing their own stuff? I don't get it.
Where the fuck are you gonna go? That's the thing. Okay, so I'll give the argument on this. All of the users, if you're a creator, if you're a content creator right now, right? All of the users and your viewers are on YouTube. They created a fucking monopoly.
Yep.
And nobody was able to compete with them. Now, there's alternatives now, but they're not as advanced as YouTube. You know, like for instance, BitChute, right? BitChute uses torrent technology, but it's very outdated and the site is very clunky. And I've told that to the devs working on it, and hasn't been much fixed with it. I mean, like it with like what we're building with Somi. I mean, this is going to be the first shot for all of us to actually have a chance to rebuild a actual social media platform and video platform. I mean, like nobody has had the marketing arm behind it to push. Nobody has had the actual tech. Somi's tech is so far advanced that it's actually more advanced than YouTube and Twitter and Facebook. Facebook's running on old SQL databases.
I know they still use SQL.
Yeah, and YouTube is running on old SQL databases. They're not using advanced technology. These companies are so easy to take out. It's just you need the users to do it, and you need the marketing to do it, and nobody has had that ability to do that.
Well, YouTube is owned by Google, right? So
right, and then they're directing all of their traffic from Android. They're directing all of their traffic from the Google search engine, and they're partnered with both Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, so starting an alternative site, it's like a fight like David against Goliath, right? Hard
It's
to
an uphill battle. It's an uphill battle, but a lot of people, a lot of influencers, and a lot of celebrities realize what's been fucking going on.
Yeah, censorship. Pure censorship.
Just go along, get along.
Yeah, but if you like talk about like the entertainment stuff, you still get most reach and whatever on YouTube and on Twitch. By the way, Twitch is getting more popular already.
No, actually, they've been censoring fucking gamers.
I think Twitch might be even worse in some respects, honestly.
Twitch has been censored. Yeah, Twitch has censored gamers as well, but they're not like Twitch. They used to be really bad with censorship. Now it's gotten a little bit less restrictive when Amazon picked it up and bought it. Ironically, Amazon, right? But
Yeah.
But isn't that throwing in your own windows? I mean, those gamers channels, they get a lot of views.
of course,
So it's actually throwing in your own windows because you're actually blocking something that's putting massive views.
yeah. But Twitter did the same thing with all their users. Have you noticed Twitter doesn't function the same?
Yep.
It's not just us. Like, it's not just us. Like, Twitter does not function the same. It now prioritizes popularity tweets. So they kind of went and shifted more towards celebrities and influencers. But the issue with that is that now they created a divide where people can no longer kind of grow their accounts and become influencers or become quote unquote social media celebrities and have large followings, because it's
They
now
already got sucked in.
well it's now increasingly harder to grow your account because they changed the algorithm.
They got everybody in that they wanted in to promote everything they have.
Well,
They're
some
done with it now.
things.
They made their money.
That's true. But some things are working great on there. Like if I post videos of like UFO sightings, I get 1,000 subscribers in like 5 days. Like
Yeah,
I switch it to anonymous, I get like nothing.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but then if you talk about fucking any like number of topics that are quote unquote forbidden on their site that they don't fucking put out there, it's just, oh, your ideology is now under attack. I mean, so if you talk about any number of topics, your reach goes down instantly.
Yeah.
Talking about those topics. Those topics. What one of them is including the vaccine and anything around COVID.
Let's say let's actually do it for fun. Let's say ivermectin, and then we get like full.
We trolled NSA years ago and how we were fucking posting all the fucking keywords and everything. That's exactly what we should do with all these social media sites. I advocate for somebody out there, and I don't really care who it is. If you have a net of votes to donate to the cause, I advocate for you to create thousands and thousands of accounts on these social media sites with just a bot that just spams all the keywords that they hate.
So you
Thousands
think
and thousands
the
of
last
accounts
episode
on
we
these
were talking
social
about
media.
Haiti and the stream got disrupted. You think that's a coincidence?
What was that?
That we were talking about Haiti and that probably the CIA is behind it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bro, the moment I saw that video of those two dudes, I was like, they're probably from Miami. Lo and behold, some of the apprehended suspects have ties with the South Florida communities. Like, duh.
Yeah.
And not only that, but they have ties with the DEA and the FBI. And on top of that, I mean, it's just so obvious that it was a CIA operation. Like, I don't know. It's so fucking insane.
Question.
It really is obvious.
They used to do shit in the dark and covert, and then they would have no ties. But now these guys, I mean, how the fuck did they all get caught like that? Like, I mean, you failed your job.
Notice how the USA always
pressuring them economically through shit like the Caribbean Basin Initiative.
But notice how the USA always works like a hydra. Like, it never works. They never attack one thing at once. Like, it goes like, now they're focused on like Cuba, Haiti, the Middle East, right? They use this multi strategy, and then one that they
Africa.
probably, and they probably calculate that a few of those fail, but they will still succeed on one or two, and they still won. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
I
how it
mean,
is.
Venezuela failed spectacularly.
Yeah, but like it did in the past too. This was too stable of a government. Like Turkey, they failed too. They used the Gulen movement to like take out Erdogan and take over Turkey, right, with the CIA. They feel bad with it because they didn't. They thought Turkey was just Iraq or something. That's what they thought.
Yeah. I mean, while something like Cuba might fail, what happens in Haiti might succeed just because, they don't have a stable government to begin with, and they're already so ravaged by, economy, the human sex trafficking, and such and such.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I said this with our interview yesterday with a Cuban on-the-ground journalist. But basically,
Don't give any details. That is a secret still, right?
Well, I didn't provide any more details than that, but Yeah, they put their muscle. I said this yesterday. They put their muscle behind countries that are being destabilized by people within in the country, and then they come in and then they fund those movements through CIA. What was it? First aid? Is it first aid? What's the
Yeah, well, that's a good example. The Red Cross, Greenpeace, these
yeah.
existing organizations. They are in
Yeah,
all
yeah.
countries of the world, and they have the supply lines, they have the infrastructure, they have the houses for people. They can anonymously pay out agents. Those people are being used for it, definitely.
Well, they can pay out people by saying, if you do this, then we'll give you a house. Like that is literally what they do. I mean, like they do all types of different things. I mean,
Yeah, and you don't think that that churches randomly pop up all over Africa because the church is so important, right?
no, the churches are used to basically launder money into the country and fund resistance movements. But the other thing important there is to say that it's not all the protesters being paid. I mean, like it's
No.
just it's a matter of the organizers being paid and select protesters. It's not every single protester. So therefore, the U.S. takes a legitimate cause and then throws in its own agenda, and then
And before you know it, you have a color revolution.
Well, I was okay, so I have experience with organizing protests like a decade ago, and then when you would organize a street protest and it would get serious, right? Like an Occupy level, for example. Then there would always be people like, okay, so you would have your group of friends, you would organize it together. We all kind of knew each other and we trust each other and stuff. There was people showing up and said like, well, actually, I can print flyers for you. I have a guy who can do this for us and stuff. And we would all accept it, of course, because why would we agree? Why would we not agree with it? We like flyers and stuff. So they would do that, and they would make themselves more important in our group and whatever. And then when like the big day was, they would be standing there, and suddenly all the media only goes to interview them, right? And we didn't know these.
Words to that song.
Yeah, we didn't know these people. They just showed up with us, and they became like somehow very important, and that's what they would also use then with the media. Yeah, like I provided the flyers, did this and this work for them and stuff, but they were not involved at first. They just show up, and they would answer on these questions of the media, and it would be all these weird controlled opposition answers and stuff that like not pre-discussed with any of us, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're calling for U.S. intervention, then you're controlled opposition, whether you know it or not, honestly.
Yeah, because you don't have to choose between two evils, right? Like you
I
do.
know, and I mean, like, you wonder where the U.S. stands on this issue. I mean, I live in Miami. The Palmetto has been shut down for the past 2 days now because it's being occupied by a bunch of fucking gusanos for Cuba, which I mean, like, I'm not mad about that. If anything, I'm like, yo, keep that same fucking energy, dog. Like, you think that if my protest crew came out there, we couldn't hold a fucking highway for that long? Bitch, please. Because cops mow you over, like in Florida, where the fucking anti-riot bill was just passed. Like, all of a sudden, right off the heels of that anti-protest bill being passed, you have a group of people that are conveniently able to have cops shut down part of a major highway for them, and it just so happens that they're waving U.S. flags and starting, "Oh, necesitamos intervención militaria." Yeah, real convenient.
Translation, please.
Military intervention.
Yeah.
We need military intervention.
Yeah, but so you're complaining about your government, and then instantly you're saying, please, US, help us or something. But what is wrong with saying, I hate my fucking government, but I hate you guys even more? Like, to stay away, right? That would be the right thing to say. Like, yeah.
And you don't hear that. That should tell you something.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're just, like you said, if you're calling for military intervention, I mean, you basically, and being paid by the CIA. I mean,
Yeah.
or the State Department. I mean,
Or eres un pendejo. Okay, you're a dumbass.
that's possibility too. But somebody there is getting fucking paid by the CIA or
Oh
the-
yeah, for
the State
sure.
Department. One of them.
Bro, Cuba is too fucking close to Florida for that to for there not to be.
Too close to our country.
It's been like what since the 50s that there was no revolution there anymore. I think there was the 50s somewhere, right?
58, 59, yeah.
Yeah, it was like 59, I think, or
That
or
was
was it the 59?
JFK.
Well,
Remember
50.
JFK, the Bay of Pigs invasion, where they tried to invade Cuba, and JFK told them no, that he didn't want to do a huge operation. He wanted to do a small operation, and the whole Bay of Pigs operation fell apart. And then the Joint Chief of Staff came back and was mad at JFK for the failed invasion. It was called Operation Zapata, and then also Bay of Pigs.
Yeah, well, and Operation Mongoose too, which more or less aimed at the same type of. It wasn't the actual Bay of Pigs, but it aimed at like that kind of campaign of literal terrorist attacks and covert operations against Cuba in hopes that they could depose Castro.
Well, I say it once
Well, there was
again.
Northwoods. Operation Northwoods. They literally wrote. The Joint Chief of Staff came back and said, "Okay, we want to run a false flag operation to gain public acceptance for a invasion of Cuba," and they literally wrote in those documents, "Fly drones into buildings."
Yeah, well, I mean, they were like,
wait. Hold on, just real quick.
yeah,
They literally wrote "fly drones into buildings," and they took a page out of Hitler's book and said to dress up U.S. soldiers as Cubans and have them shoot at each other.
oh yeah, no, there were several plans going into it because I mean, one of the things that was acknowledged in the intelligence documents was that, hey, the revolution is too popular, so we're gonna have to use covert means to somehow flip the people into, getting another Fulgencio Batista back in. So it's like you have that, but then you also have the very kind of open measures, which includes the sanctions and the embargo and the blockade.
Well, it didn't get much better after Batista, right?
Oh hell no!
Oh no! In part because of those things that we just listed.
Yeah.
But I mean, Batista was like just.
He was.
I mean, the difference was Batista was completely in the pockets of the United States, and he was also working with them via the sugar cartel, and it was also a completely segregated society in Cuba prior to the revolution in '59.
Sugar cartel. Are the sniffing sugar or what?
Yay.
No, but yeah, like I said in previous videos, CIA has a long tracking record with putting people in place, and if they get out of hand, putting them out of place again.
Yeah.
And that's why I said with Haiti as well, it just screams CIA, and Cuba, well, it screams CIA too.
I mean, what? Yeah, God. What the CIA fucking does is disgusting. That's just. I mean, the CIA in Africa too. Just.
Well, that's a whole nother discussion.
I mean, like, which country in the global South didn't the CIA coup?
None of them, I think. All of them have some influence from the CIA, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's like
Yeah.
I think Honestly, I think it's like 50 or 60 countries that the CIA has tried to invade or invaded. Um, yeah.
It's not just the CIA doing that, by the way. I mean,
Oh no, yeah, but just
Oh
the
yeah.
U.S. wise, I mean, the U.S. has been one of the ones that has been the most popular doing it. But if we look at China, for instance, I mean, China has invaded the Middle East just as much as the U.S. has, and they've done it
Hmm.
a different way.
yeah,
They've done it through loans. They loan out.
Yeah, same thing in Africa.
Right. Yeah, yeah. They've done it in Africa too a lot. They give out these loans that they can't repay, and then they own the land. And that's how they invade the like.
yeah.
China's smart about it. China's fucking smart. They're like, all right, well, yeah, we'll give you the loan. All right.
There's
Okay, now you're in our pockets. I mean, and like this is something that, Africans are just starting, or well, not just starting, but this is something that at least like grassroots African activists are seeing where it's like, oh, so now China's just our sugar daddy. Like that's what it essentially
Oh
is.
no, no, no.
That's what Samia Nkrumah said, who's the daughter of Kwame Nkrumah. She basically said Africa is, I mean, no, China is Africa's new sugar daddy. That's what she said. So I'm quoting her with that. But I mean, ugh, it's like US and China just play good cop, bad cop, but they're
well,
still cops.
Well, what China's doing is they're actually when they do take over the land, they then build on the land, and what they've been doing is they've been building this pipeline. I forget what it's called. What is the pipeline called? I know Mark knows it. I've heard him say it before.
Which pipeline?
one
Nord
time-
Stream or?
The Chinese pipeline that's running through Africa.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. There's like, I don't know anymore. I'm sorry.
I'd like
There's also a supply chain that they're running through it too. It's like the something road initiative. I just can't remember what
Oh,
it is.
the
Road.
Belton Road Initiative.
Yeah, yeah. There's that one. Yeah, but there's also there's a pipeline that they're running throughout Africa and back to China. It's really I can't remember what it's called.
Where does it go through?
Actually, when you said
Good
like
question.
Does
China,
it go through like the Horn, West Africa, Central Africa?
I'm not 100% sure of where it runs through. I just know that they're building it. I just can't remember what it's called. But yeah, that's what China's been doing.
yeah, like I said, when you said like China is Africa's sugar daddy, I actually picture like a cutout from Family Guy. You see like Africa, the continent, and China, and like who's your daddy? But yeah, it is like that. They are sneaky son of a bitches, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they notice how they notice how clearly popular the U.S. approach is. So they're like, no, maybe if we sprinkle in a little money here with this, then we can somehow then we'll gain more influence. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's even if it might look better, they're still cops in the good cop bad cop thing.
Yep.
And even then, they're still pretty fucking bad cops too, because I mean, you look at some of the environmental effects of what their mining contracts have done, like they still don't take any accountability for the
Yeah.
environmental effects of something like cobalt mining or nickel mining, or like there was a big scandal in the Central African Republic, which WikiLeaks actually showed. Like that, I thought that was one of their releases that didn't get much attention, was the
Yeah.
whole scandal with the Central African Republic's mining sector, which involved not only Chinese companies but like UN front companies, and like I think it was a French Canadian company or something like that, some other company that I can't remember the name of.
And
Yeah,
Mercury.
they've all been they've behind the scenes. They've all been working together to kind of fleece Africa of all of its resources and everything. And
Oh
also,
yeah. Well, they need to for the fourth industrial revolution because they both got ties at the end of the day. They both want that fourth industrial revolution. They both want to achieve that vision. So they're going to plunder the continent of Africa and eventually the ocean floor to do it.
And mercury, I think too. Africa has also a lot of mercury, right? Which is actually used by gold mining for purifying it, I think.
well, forget gold mining. I mean, they're literally over there mining lithium, especially in Afghanistan as well. But yeah, they're over there mining lithium. Africa is very rich with lithium and so other
Cobalt, nickel,
Cobalt,
iron,
But
a lot of stuff. The Caribbean
coltan,
actually,
copper.
the Caribbean actually is rich in is it bauxite or bauxite? That one.
Bauxite,
That's
yeah.
yeah, bauxite. That's actually a mineral that's pretty prominent in the Caribbean, especially Jamaica.
and of course diamonds. Africa has a lot of diamonds.
Yeah, the diamonds in the Congo,
Yep.
yep,
which are mined
Blood
through
diamond.
child labor.
right. Yeah, the blood diamonds. That's another thing too. That's what I couldn't remember when I was trying to say it just a few minutes ago. It's lithium and diamonds is the two richest minerals over there. But the whole entire continent of Africa is like freaking resource heavy as hell with everything.
Yeah,
So I
but
mean,
huge parts of Africa is still poor, you know.
Hmm.
well,
Well, I mean, particularly because of that resource curse. I mean, they'll develop one sector of the economy and leave the others to completely go to shite. And then the only people profiting off those resources are a corrupt government, which is, allowed to be in power because, God forbid, they want to give some resources back to their people. Then they're going to get the Patrice Lumumba treatment.
So on Into the Microcosm last night, the radio show that I do a guest spot on every Wednesday. There's a like Canadian expat who was on as a guest, Bruce McDonald, and he was being kind of like, I don't know, flippant about South Africa post apartheid, and he was like, well, I mean, the standard of living, let's be honest, was way better under apartheid. And
Are you fucking kidding me?
And so I was like, yo, dude, you realize, right, that all they got was the semblance of a government, but no ownership of the resources that like make up the wealth of their land. And those were all in the hands of fucking foreign companies. They never got a fucking piece of that. You never got any fucking agency in many
Well,
cases.
yeah.
Well,
And
he didn't know that.
segregation.
He didn't know that. And it was cool to be able to explain because he was like, holy fuck. And then went and was like digging while I was talking about it and then was like, holy shit, you're right. And he was like going to journalism school
Actually,
while this was going on and wasn't in a sphere where that information was prevalent.
it annoys me that they use the Dutch word for it. Apartheid.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
Not funny, apartheid.
Yeah, it's a Dutch word, but
I know it's Dutch word, but it's horrible stuff.
It was your system.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Not in the Netherlands, but in South Africa it was. Yeah.
it is. It was. I think it's not anymore.
Van der Slaven.
At least not officially anymore, right?
No, it is a polarization thing that they use in the US too, to be honest. Just saying.
Fucking Dutch.
Like,
Hey!
Yeah.
yeah, we invent that kind of stuff. Like that's because we are experienced colonizers.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Dutch,
Shit,
go
you
over to
little
fucking
wooden
Belgium
shoe-wearing bastards.
and what the damn Flemish and the Belgians did in the fucking Congo.
And Rwanda.
That's
Yes,
true.
and Rwanda. I mean,
And
we were,
Ivory
you know,
Coast.
I think it was, yeah, and I think it was you, Mark, that specifically said it wasn't just the CIA involved in Africa. Oh yeah, we know it wasn't because of the fucking Belgians.
See, and that's what I was going to say.
French and the fucking Brits. It's not like the SAS.
Oh,
were
yeah.
all up. But the fucking French Foreign Legion. The whole reason it exists is so the French could have a fucking full-time merc espionage presence on the continent of Africa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so and that's what I was saying is not just the USCA, but AK was saying like it's also China stuff. But what I meant is like it is also the partners of the USA, right? This is the NATO, it is the Western establishment or the Atlanteans, right, doing it. Those are all these countries are doing it, and that's the Atlantean.
Let's be honest. The Dutch are the fucking worst.
Yeah.
I'll say the Belgian Dutch are the worst.
I resent that.
No, we are like the Dutch are also really really bad. To say.
Waffle bread.
Yes. Well, to be fair, Spain, they can catch the smoke any of the day of the week too.
I mean,
Yeah, any
Because-
cracker with a boat is gonna colonize a motherfucker. That's just how that shit works.
Yeah, the
You got a boat,
Spanish.
you're gonna go colonize somebody.
Yeah, what they did to the
Especially
fucking
if you got a
Tainos
boat
in the
and pointy
Caribbean.
thing. Guns.
I mean,
Yeah.
look at what we did in Indonesia, the Dutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what Britain did in fucking Kenya and India
Yep.
and Nigeria. Well, I
And
mean, like even though Nigeria has independence, you have something that the diplomatic cables exposed, which was Shell literally bragging about how much influence they have in the Nigerian government. Thanks, I guess.
Yeah, what Britain did in India was kind of like an apartheid system, but like with all these different
Yeah.
ranks, right? Like literally dividing the society in like what, like 20 different castes.
And the French in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because they were actually first there until they couldn't handle the shit anymore and they had to call in America.
Fucking French.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, America didn't really help them there either. I mean, yeah.
Who likes the French anyway?
No, I mean, the Americans were pretty slaughtered, pretty bad there.
I like Paul Pogba. That's about it.
I mean, yeah, they got a huge kick in the ass in Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody did really. Like, fucking U.S. big bad U.S. Army got their asses handed to them by fucking rice farmers in Vietnam, despite, you know, Agent Orange, because, just,
That
Yeah.
shit. Oh, yeah, that shit. Agent Orange. I mean, that was some heavy chemical shit, what they were spraying over the forest there.
Yeah, this is
And
chemical
I know-
warfare.
And I know because I'm a gardener, and I do know how to use herbicides, and I know what shit is in there. You know, you don't want
oh
to
yeah.
mess with that stuff because it has serious consequences.
No, you don't, and the runoff will produce red tides and algal blooms and fish kills in the ocean when used on a massive scale, like it is in my lovely state of Florida.
Yeah, I was actually I posted that video a while ago about what was that stuff called again? They were actually spraying it in America in the early 30s, I think. What's it again? Was also some pesticides. Let me look it up for a moment.
Okay.
What that stuff was.
Is it weird that I don't understand any of the comments in the Rockfin? Just saying. I don't understand that they're completely unrelated to what we're discussing.
That's what you chatters do. You go and have your own little conversation. Okay.
Yeah, but
I
someone,
see you, like-
okay, but someone asked like, Are you discussing the government's decision to pay for cybercrime tips with crypto? Well, we didn't discuss any of that yet.
We didn't bring that up.
That's a question. Though.
You're
Okay.
gonna set off
How are you
AK.
going to discuss that?
Okay.
Crypto AK has joined us.
Okay, crypto okay, jump in.
All right. So wait. What do you want to know? You want to know the ransomware task force that just came out? Is that what we're discussing?
To pay... No, the government
I
will
guess
pay you
so.
for cybercrime tips with crypto.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not official. The State Department put out a proposed idea. I don't know where the fuck they're gonna get this money. Somebody please tell me where they're getting the $10 million each fucking case ransomware hackers.
Now, with the crypto rich, of
It's
course.
going to be our reliable and divine and
Money printer,
beautiful
go burr.
Fed. The Fed. It's gonna be the Fed.
So but if we're gonna be printing fucking an additional $10 million every single time there's a ransomware, the inflation rate, it's already fucking up 5% since what was it, 1990, something like that. It's fucking insane. I looked at it, I was like, oh my god. I was like, fucking 5% inflation rate, 0.9% CPI rate or consumer price index increase from May to June. I mean, I don't know what else more to say. I mean, it's clear to me that inflation is here, and prices are rising like nobody's business. I mean, I tried to order from Popeye's food, the restaurant, and the prices,
Okay.
man, the prices. It used to be like $12 for a fucking 5-piece of chicken, and now it's up to like 15. I was like,
What?
fuck.
Oh, I can't believe it. Wait, $12?
It used to be 12.
AK.
Yeah.
Damn. Wait. Yeah, it's not even 12 where I'm at. You shopping at some expensive ass Popeyes. Damn.
No, that's the state. Okay. So all these restaurants and everything, the state kind of decides the prices based off of taxes and all of that jazz. So the price went from $11.99 and that's like a full meal. That's like that's 5 pieces of chicken, one side, and a drink. But
And the biscuit.
and a biscuit, yeah.
forget about
And the
the
price
biscuit.
went from $11.99 or $12 up to $15.99 now, and then for the 3-piece, it's only $10. I'm like, how does that make sense? What the fuck? You're charging $5 for or $2.50 for an additional 2 pieces of chicken? Like, what? But with this whole ransomware thing, what the U.S. government is doing is they've announced that they're going to use the Five Eyes, the Five Eyes agreement, and the alliance to spy and trace ransomware hackers, and that just expanded the surveillance network. Now, in regards to ransomware hackers, I've always said, I mean, these people that are doing ransomware on hospitals and stuff like that are really fucked in the head, and they deserve to be tracked down and locked up. Because when you attack a hospital, you are literally putting everybody's life in that hospital at risk, because what it does is it shuts down all of their systems.
I have an idea. Beat them in the hospital. Oh, sorry, we can help you. We have ransomware.
Well, yeah, and that has happened in the past. It has happened in the past. There's been ransomware attacks on hospitals, and like I said, it's really fucked up. People would do that. But
like I said, beat them into the hospital, and then the hospital says like, "Oh, sorry, we can't help you because we have ransomware." Yeah, right?
What is that mean stuff? That's really mean stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is fucked
We're
up.
not advocating for any violence, you two.
No, but it's really fucked up. If you target hospitals and other stuff that actually tries to help people.
Well, I mean, if hospitals lose power, then people die. I mean, I remember that was a big thing down here in Broward when Hurricane Irma came back in 2017, I think it was. Yeah, it was already 4 years ago. Shit, but yeah, when we lost power, like it was actually a hospital. No, or was it an old folks home? It was one of those two that like lost power, and because of that, people actually died, and it was a big thing down here.
Don't they have emergency generators?
That's the thing, is you'd think they would. I think it was an old folks home that lost AC. I think that's what it was. But I mean, still, like stuff like that, like nursery homes and hospitals, like those need those need some kind of backup generators, but one of them didn't for some reason. Well, and it was in a working class area, so that's probably why.
I know the arguments. Go ahead, AK.
I was just gonna say for ransomware. I mean, even if there is some type of backup system or anything, the ransomware would typically lock out all connected IoT devices. So you wouldn't be able to stop something like that. And the key that what this ransomware task force is doing, they're doing a number of different things. They're training corporations' IT departments. That this isn't actually what was published, but I know that this is true. They're training IT departments on how to deal with ransomware and training them to not click on phishing links and all of that jazz. But again, all it requires is just one person in an organization to fuck up, click a malicious link. That's it.
Yeah, but in the case of like WannaCry, etc., people didn't even have to click anything. Like it went completely out of their control. Like there was a serious exploits into Windows, right? So they could just be remotely injected without doing anything. Like you had no control over it. Especially
with WannaCry was basically a worm plus ransomware, and on top of being a worm and ransomware, WannaCry I think used the NSA Blue exploit.
Yeah, Eternal Blue, and then later on you had an updated exploit called Blue Keep, and these were serious security holes in Windows, and yeah, you didn't have to click a link. No, you could just be infected without doing anything.
Actually, it's a trick that I use as well in the webcam. I infiltrated a worm that cripples their security system, and then infiltrated a keylogger.
Yeah.
And that's how I got hold of 50% of their email server back then. So yeah, it is actually a tactic that is used commonly, right? Using a worm to cripple the system and then sneak in some other stuff.
Yeah, well, this would self-replicate, right? It would infect other systems in the same network, etc. And because they all use like the same Windows version or whatever, they all get infected. There isn't much you can do against it. But if you, like afterwards, you release like patches, and luckily that guy from what was it, Malware Tag? What was that guy? Found like the domain in the code to stop it, but otherwise it wouldn't have stopped. So.
Still, I think hackers should have an ethic and not attack like police stations, fireware stations, hospitals, because they are actually there for the people, right?
Yeah, but this is either like a really aggressive mafia operation, or it's state sponsored, right, to cripple your enemy. Like if you have like you just call this cyber warfare to like North Korea or whatever, some country is behind it, or it's like a really smart mafia organization who just know that if you cripple the healthcare system, every state is going to pay you, so you're guaranteed money. Because that is the crucial part of their country, so they're going to pay you.
What was recently attacked here in the U.S. was supply chain stuff. The Colonial Pipeline being one, which is for oil, and then the
JBS.
Yeah, the JBS meat facility. And when that attack happened, the prices of meat rose like crazy. And there's another one too. It was called Kayesa. I can't. Yeah, it was called Kayesa. And this these last 3 attacks. That dark. What was her name? Darkside. Darkside.
Yeah.
Claimed responsibility for one of them, which was the Colonial Pipeline, and then R Evil claimed responsibility for the other 2. But
These names sound so fake, AK. Just saying, they sound made up by intelligence agencies.
Darkside has been for years.
Yeah, I know, but they sound like intelligence operations. Just saying.
What was the?
What they did is not ethical, right?
Like
well, what I was going to say was our Evil's website on the darknet just disappeared and was deleted after they did the attack, and now they're not asking for any ransomware payment anywhere. And they just completely deleted themselves off of the darknet. So I think that the last attack on JBS and what's another one? The Kayesa. I think that those 2 last attacks were fake, in my opinion, at least. And I also think possibly that the intelligence services might have fabricated the dark side attack as well, because it just doesn't make sense why Russian hackers, the dark side Russian hackers, would use U.S. servers and say to send Bitcoin to U.S. servers so the U.S. could come in and just basically capture the Bitcoin, let alone using Bitcoin. I mean, it's a public ledger. It's not a private ledger.
Yeah, and remember with the Colonial hack as well, it came out like, I think it was just a week or like a couple weeks later, maybe 1 or 2, where they were like, oh, the FBI managed to recover a majority of the funds lost in the ransomware attack. Okay.
Right, because they used U.S. servers. That doesn't make sense. Why
That's
would
real
they use...
It's quite convenient, AK.
Why would they install a Bitcoin wallet onto U.S. servers and say send the Bitcoin to U.S. servers? That doesn't make sense.
Could they perhaps be the FBI?
It's either an inside operation by the U.S. government, or it's Russia trying to get crypto banned. It's one of the 2.
Yeah.
Russia has been trying to get crypto banned. Yeah, I don't know if you know that or not, but they have.
Mm-hmm.
They banned their citizens from using crypto. So anybody caught using crypto in Russia can now face prison time.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh?
What? Is that
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah. But I'm not saying it.
I know what you're thinking. Yeah,
I'm just not saying it.
I really want to say it.
No, but
it's a real shame.
No, we're not getting into that. But yeah, I was thinking the same thing, to be honest. But yeah,
I think we're all thinking the same thing.
Most of us in this call were.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. So now they just enacted this law, and it was about a couple months ago that they put this in the law, and they said essentially that if you're using crypto in Russia as a payment, you can face prison time. So you can't use crypto as a payment for anything in Russia. So you can't say, give me crypto for a service. They completely outlawed it.
Pretty
so,
sad, actually, right?
Yeah.
The
Well,
government
we
to
knew,
do that.
at least I knew that Russia would do that. I knew that Russia and China would both do that. They're both authoritarian regimes, in my opinion, at least. I mean, I kind of view them more as dictatorships, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah, they're like in-your-face dictatorships, right? And where the U.S. is more like this whole manipulative control system, they're just throwing it in your face, like we're in control and fuck off, right?
well, the U.S. is a dictatorship too, but it's not a dictatorship in the form of the presidency. It's a dictatorship in the form of the intelligence community. The intelligence community is never voted out of the U.S. I mean, and they.
I mean, it's an in-your-face, authoritarian, technocratic, techno-fascist state, not with a fully visible national security and surveillance / police state / all of that. But you know, the dictatorship part, as in like who is actually pulling the strings, that part might be a bit more hidden. But the
Yeah.
actual authoritarianism is very much out in the open.
Quite clear about it. You know, I'm the boss, and if you don't like it, you will end up having an accident or end up in the gulag.
Yeah, that's at least that's what you know in Russia and China. You know what you can expect, right? You know.
Well, remember that journalist that Putin's wife said, "I have information on Putin," and then he met with that Russian woman, and then he ended up dead.
Yeah, definitely.
So if Putin's wife ever says, "Let me meet you in an alleyway," don't go.
There have been at least 6 assassination attempts on Putin too, by the way. Just saying.
But it's a coincidence that every opposition of Putin dies in a weird accident or just disappears, right? It's not coincidence.
Well, he told Oliver Stone that the reason he's still alive is that he takes care of his own security service. And he learned that from his old friend Fidel Castro.
And actually, it doesn't surprise me this kind of practice because Putin was a high official in
KGB.
Yeah, he was in East Berlin when the wall was still there. He was like rounding up people to be put into camps. So this guy's very experienced at it. He was like literally running the Stasi there. So.
And he actually uses this kind of tactics also for his politics.
This guy was still in that age. He was still in that headquarters when the people already threw down the wall and they were surrounding that building where he was in. It's even a miracle that he even survived that whole thing. But yeah. People were raging back then.
Russian spy files too.
Yeah.
Putin's politics are like chess moves, right? He already has 10 moves calculated.
Oh my god, 10D chess!
I'm just going to give this disclaimer right now. If you're anti-Russia, doesn't mean you're pro-USA at all. I mean, you can be. I know, because there's going to be people like, yeah, you guys are smearing Russia, so you must be like with the USA because you're feeding into Red Scare and stuff. No, these are all authoritarian governments, and the United States is no better than that.
I don't like their states, but I like their nations, if that makes sense. I like, the people and the culture and the very kind of grassroots anthropological aspect of the nation, just not the state.
I would say it's perfectly fine to hate all authoritarian governments. You don't have to choose between them at all. Like.
No, you don't. And if anybody has anything to say about us smearing Russia, I mean, we just smeared the U.S. earlier, so I mean, you can rewind this back.
I mean, we slewed the shit out of a bunch of Western countries too.
People get so mad when I critique or criticize other authoritarian governments, and it's like, no, dude, I don't have to pick. I don't have to be on the side of anyone who is exploiting or brutalizing their people or anyone else's people so that they can acquire natural resources so they can further exploit everybody. No, I don't have to pretend like they're somehow good because the US is bad. I don't have to do that. There are varying degrees of brutality and there are varying degrees of freedom. But under authoritarian regimes, there is always and only going to be brutality with varying degrees of what passes for freedom until somebody gets pissed off.
Well, I mean, and that's why we emphasize like grassroots opposition instead of, fucking color revolution bullshit or whatever state actor doing this. Like, oh my god, perfect example. When that fucking video of I forgot his first name, but President Aliyev from Azerbaijan and that BBC journalist where he was basically like, "Oh no, you can't say anything to me because look at what you guys in the US are doing to Julian Assange." And then, I love my Assange community, but a shit ton of pro-Assange people were like, "Oh my god, yes, go Azerbaijan, go Aliyev, you're doing great owning that BBC journalist." It's like, what the fucking fuck? No, like this is, bro, Julian Assange is on video in Architects of Denial exposing Aliyev and how Azerbaijan is continuing what the Turkish started with the Armenian genocide. Like, just because an authoritarian fucking despot comes out in favor of your cause doesn't mean that they're automatically on your side. I mean, it's the same thing with corporations. When large corporate bodies come in and say, "Oh yeah, we're for this," I'm like, okay, well, you're right, but you're still a fucking piece of shit and you're not on my team with this, because like at the end of the day, your way isn't the solution.
What Mark said, I'm not anti-Russia because I met some Russian people, and they are really warm and friendly people, which they really do share everything they have with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. In Eastern Europe, you see that a lot, by the way. Like, because there's much more poverty, they care a lot more about humans, actually, less about like wealth and things.
The grandfather of my ex-wife, he didn't have much. He had just government money because he was retired, but it's not much.
I had a Polish teammate. She was awesome.
And he was giving the little bit that he had. He wanted to give me. I was like, no, I have enough. But yeah, they are really warm and friendly people. Because I'm against those governments, not against Russia.
No, the government puts these people in a horrible situation. I mean,
exactly.
I discussed it with earlier. Like, we discussed it like yesterday with this Cuban journalist too. There is like, if you go to Moscow, it's a super Western city, right? And you have like hotel rooms, you have restaurants. The prices are even higher than like in cities like New York, etc. But it's just everything is luxurious. But the second you go out of the city, you go into like the rural areas and stuff, people are super poor and they will never be able to pay for all that stuff that happens in central Moscow. That's the sad thing.
Well, it's the same in Prague. Prague
Yeah.
is also like really Western, and the prices are also really Western.
Yeah, I've been to Prague in the past.
They wanted to charge me €4 for a cup of tea. I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a little bit of water with a bag of leaves. I'm not.
That's what, Ted. That's what we call a tourist trap.
Yeah. I mean, it's not chocolate milk.
No.
But talking about Russia, I mean, you remember what Russia did? Russia stood up and was saying about press freedom in the U.S. and Julian Assange, right? And then at the same time, they were imprisoning that journalist in their own country. I can't remember his name,
They killed 61 journalists in the last decade in their own country. Just saying.
Yeah.
That is from the CPJ, like the Committee for Protection of Journalists. That's the website. You can see the numbers. You see 61
Those
in
numbers
Russia.
are right, but CPJ can go fuck off too, because they were in that meeting with Blinken and didn't say shit about Assange. So.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah.
Again, what I want to emphasize
Because he's being painted. He's being painted as a hacker and not a journalist, and these organizations are taking that at its full word, which is just
Well, technically, they can only list him as a journalist after the outcome of the court case. If you would argue, if you would, okay, so you play advocate of the devil, right? Technically, after the court case, when it is judged that he is a journalist or whatever, if we argue like that, then they can list him as a journalist. But that is a super weak statement because it's very obvious that all these other journalists speak out in favor of Assange, and we all know what he actually did and published in journalistic work. That he is a journalist. But
well,
yeah,
he sat there and redacted documents on the Iraq and Afghanistan war logs.
Yeah, he worked with Ian Overton on doing all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, we had Ian on before multiple times now, I think. And yeah, I mean, like, it's just insane, man. It's insane that that they can do this to this man for so many years. But you remember the Stratford documents? They literally said, take Assange around from country to country, drag him from country to country, and throw charges at him. Basically, that's what they said.
I'll read some of the highlights of that there, but yeah, they move him from country to country to face charges for the next 25 years, but seize everything he and his family own, to include every person linked to WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
In Ray McGovern's article the other week, right after the limited appeal was granted, Ray brought up that quote, and he said, move him from country to country, moving him from court to court is equally as effective at this point, especially if he's, being held without bail in maximum security prison the entire time. So court venue to court venue essentially performs the exact same function as moving from country to country. That Stratford doc also said, pursue conspiracy and political terrorism charges, declassify the death of a source, someone which could be linked to WikiLeaks, take down the money, go after his infrastructure. The tools we're using to nail and deconstruct WikiLeaks are the same tools used to dismantle and track Al-Qaeda.
Yep. And in addition to that, they also said in those documents to attack supporters, and also harass supporters in real life.
Similar to what that guy from HB Gary's was doing, right? He had also a big plan set
And
up.
Palantir's footprint was on that freaking little PowerPoint presentation too.
Yeah, it was Palantir, HB Gary, and Bellacruz. What is it? Bellicou? I can't remember their name. Starts with a B.
It sounds actually like that plan, right? What they are executing.
No, it does. 100%.
Sorry, I'm eating chips here. Mm-hmm. I'm hungry.
You gonna wash it down with some chocolate milk?
That's the same thing. Oh shit, that's great. Yeah, so I mean, the plan is out there, and they've been executing on it for the past couple of years. But there's also an email where it discusses. It literally says in it, it's a conversation between two Stratford employees where they're talking about Assange, and they're talking about the fake rape allegation, and they're saying that oh yeah, that's all fake. Like,
Yeah,
like you can't make this shit up, man. Like, You really can't. But yeah, it's
Hey, by the way, I have to make a comment about people in the chat because they're talking about Navalny and Navalny being an obvious plant, probably a plant. I mean, it was like thrown in our face that he could be a plant, but the thing is, it is about legal consequences. Like he ran like some kind of like opposition against Putin, and this opposition party was thrown into jail, right? Whether he's a plant or not, these are legal consequences. Like apparently the Russian government or Putin or whatever can just throw people who are in opposition into a jail. So that also means that same thing will apply to non-plants. That's the thing.
And that's not the worst. That's not the worst thing they do to opposition, right? I mean, most of them get like accidents.
Yeah, but so if anything, he could he's also been accused by Russians of being an actual Putin plant, because he's being used to like make it impossible for other opposition leaders to function. Right?
there's been over the years, other opposition figures, and they've all been squashed.
Yeah.
So it's not only Navalny, like, and I love this short-sightedness of some people where it's like, oh, you know, well, this event happened in just this year or last year, and they don't look beyond that and say, oh, this is a plant. Okay, but was all the other opposition leaders plants as well?
Yeah, and keep in mind, Navalny also advocated for the Russians to have the right to the Crimea, right? He was really very much against Biden and Americans taking the Ukraine. They said like Ukraine belongs to Russia, right?
Crimea.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, Navalny, the Crimea. Navalny stated Crimea belongs to Russia, openly. So, just saying.
Yeah.
well, and there's probably a reason as well as to why, Western media doesn't cover the other opposition people in Russia because, where's the profit in that?
Yeah, like I'm less concerned with it being a plant or not. I'm more concerned with legal consequences. Like you can do the same to people who are not plants. That's the thing. Like you have it written in law.
Exactly.
It's a
Well,
precedent.
they already have.
That's the thing. It's a precedent being set.
Yeah.
So whether it's a fucking plan or not, it doesn't matter because now, in the future, with other opposition leaders, they're just gonna lock them up. I mean, like they've already done it once. Why wouldn't they do it again? You know?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Opposition, everybody who's dangerous for them, like that ex-agent in England.
Yeah, well, let's argue that Julian Assange is Dutch Secret Service plant, right? But let's just argue that. But the thing is, when he gets convicted and extradited, that still means that all other journalists can be extradited. Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
that's the problem we're dealing with. Whether it's a plan or not, yeah.
And again, Russia in the context of Russia has gone after opposition for years. I mean, a few years ago they went after the all-female band Pussy Riot for their music against Russia and Putin, and I mean, like this argument of if Navalny was a plan or not. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's just it's like theatrics essentially. But I mean, like
Cat wrote here, why isn't Russia helping Cuba?
yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Like I said, we saw a little bit of aggression from Russia when the NATO countries were running a drill. Russia shot live rounds into the air, and we just saw more aggression from Russia with a jet. Basically, a jet flew too close to the Russian border or something, and the Russian jet chased it out just this week. So it is very interesting seeing what's going on between Russia and other countries and China and other countries as well.
For to kind of jump tracks just a little bit, there is a really good video that was put together company for Julian, and I wanna. It's like 2 minutes. I'll play it real quick. I also have the second message to the crypto world from our copyrighted official friends.
From Young American Conservatives.
Young American Conservatives.
That's what YAC probably stands for.
Or, as I always say, you're anonymous. You know what?
So okay, so what is
Yeah, I just played the
There's
video.
deep future. There's the deep future that one can long for. That is a future where we are all able to freely communicate our hopes and dreams, factual information about the world with each other, and the historical record is an item that is completely sacrosanct.
Come on, fire!
Never be changed, never be modified, never be deleted, and that we will steer a course away from Orwell's dictum of he who controls the present
Julian Assange was dragged out of the Ecuadorian embassy.
Controls the past.
Come on! Clear.
That is something that is my lifelong quest to do.
An anti-war online organization attacking U.S. policy in Afghanistan with a massive dump of classified information.
And from that, justice flows because most of us have an instinct for justice, and most of us are reasonably intelligent. And if we can communicate with each other, organise, not be oppressed, and know what's going on, then pretty much the rest falls out.
I would say more than that, you know.
Oh yeah, I would say stand outside their building and deliver your message too.
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah.
stand outside any outlet of Empire stenographers or the national security state, and preferably scream at them and gather some people to do the same, and hopefully get some other people to join you in the future. So yeah. So I'd say more than a simple call. I really think we're past calls at this point. Unless if you're going to do like 500 calls at once, then yeah, we're really past calls at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so and this was not the video by our cryptocurrency loving friends.
Well, that's what I was
Julie,
going
what?
to ask. What exactly did you say by that? And then you just started playing that video, and I was like, okay. Yeah. So, what exactly are they saying?
Okay, well Steve is going to play it, I think.
Yeah, let's just roll tape on this
Oh, not
one.
that shit again.
Oh, this will be my first
Yeah,
time watching
entertaining.
it. I'm looking forward to this.
Wait, you can't. But Steve, you have to not play the copyrighted thing at the end. It's copyrighted.
Okay.
Anonymous copyright.
No, it's that guy again. That's the guy who put on a mask and fucked the world from Pornhub.
Wow.
Greetings, citizens of the world. This is a message from Anonymous, for Elon Musk. For the past several years you have enjoyed one of the most favorable reputations of anyone in the billionaire class, because
This
you
again?
have tapped into the desire that many of us
It's
have
more,
to live in
it's
a world
round
with electric
two.
cars and space exploration. But recently your carefully created public image is being exposed, and people are beginning to see you as nothing more than another narcissistic rich dude who is desperate for attention.
Well, this is the one that you guys put in the
world is more
Jitsi
rooted in a
chat.
superiority and savior complex than it is in
This is the
actual
first
concern
video.
for humanity. This has been obvious to your employees.
We can play this first video too, by the way. Just play this first video and then play the second one.
I don't want to sit through the first video.
Okay, do the
That's
second
why-
one. Do the
Second video.
I posted the second one in the chat.
No, that's the one that you posted in the chat.
Okay, let me see that.
Oh, yeah. Oh God.
Dad, you make us watch double videos.
I know.
You guys made me think that there was another video.
There is.
Video.
Is it the YouTube link? Message to the crypto world?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Good lord.
Great.
Good lord. I have updates from Haiti, by the way, that I just got.
That means take a sip of my chocolate chip.
Anonymous.
Message to the crypto world.
This isn't Harry Potter.
We have created
Greetings, citizens of the world.
currency.
This is a message from Anonymous. Over the past 2 months, there has been a massive crackdown on Bitcoin mining in China. Prior to the crackdown, a large portion of the Bitcoin network's hash power was located in China, which means that this is where the most Bitcoin miners were located. China was such an attractive location for miners because energy was so cheap, especially in remote locations that were close to hydroelectric dams. Up until recently, China has been happy to allow Bitcoin miners in the country, but the CCP government is now planning on launching its own currency, the digital yuan, and they are no longer allowing any competing currencies within its borders. This is why there was a huge drop in the Bitcoin price through the month of May. Bitcoin miners in China were being forced to move, which means that they had to sell a lot of their coins to cover expenses. This sell pressure created a downward movement in the markets that we are still working to climb back from. Even though this crackdown focused specifically on Bitcoin, the whole crypto market was negatively affected because every crypto asset still follows the trajectory of Bitcoin. There is hope though, because this situation is only temporary. The Bitcoin miners that were located in China have already begun moving to nearby Kazakhstan and other parts of the world. As the prices have been low, institutional investors and whales have been buying the dip in the over-the-counter, OTC, market. On OTC markets, rich people can buy cryptocurrencies without raising the prices. These are private sales that happen off of exchanges.
It's true.
However, this does take crypto out of circulation, which results in a massive price spike once the market factors in the additional scarcity. Over the past few weeks, the markets have leveled out and are now moving sideways, which means that one day is up, another day is down, but overall, the price stays within a close range. This is known as consolidation, which is typically a positive sign for the markets. Many crypto experts are predicting that things will start to pick back up by the end of July for a huge rally in August. Hopefully, this is true, but either way, the crypto markets will return at some point. No market can go up in a straight line forever. No matter how strong the asset is, there will always be times of downtrend and consolidation, especially with the new asset class that is still facing regulatory challenges in multiple jurisdictions. We believe that crypto is just getting started, so we have released the Anon Inu token, a new DeFi community token with various built-in utilities. In addition to fighting Elon Musk in the meme war, the token will also be fighting China in the crypto war. Anon Inu token holders will rate
Anon
Inu?
Inu.
Well, you guys see that website? I'm just gonna request a airdrop. Yeah, we'll call it an airdrop.
Anon Inu.
What in the... What?
You can catch.
It's a Star Wars ripoff with a non-cat.
Just
a quadrillion in Inunomics. Oh, I got it. I was wondering when it was gonna go from the standard lecture on crypto to something.
Shilling a shit coin that has no fucking value. Yeah, let's say that.
A long time ago.
Will regularly be airdropped free tokens, AK.
Non-Inu token holders will regularly be airdropped free tokens, NFTs,
It's a
and other
fucking
prizes.
Ponzi scheme.
The team will also be donating a portion of the earnings to animal shelters
Turn
that
this
help
shit off.
dogs. Token holders will also
I'm
receive
giving
a
them
free Non-Inu
airplay.
profile pick NFT. More details on the NFT drop will be coming in the following weeks as we complete the rest of our roadmap.
NFTs?
Always be careful to make sure that you are using our verified tokens and products. There are many imitators in the
Official
world of
anonymous
crypto, especially with a banner
NFTs.
like Anonymous that anyone can join. The God
Yeah,
token is an example of this.
Did
and
they
more
just say
imitators
that there are a
will
lot
likely
of
try to capitalize
imitators
on
and
the Anon
anon?
name, but Non-Inu is the one you can trust.
Ooh.
We are Legion. Expect us.
No, don't end your fucking video with that shit.
That fucking.
Why did you continue letting it play?
A little bit more ahead. You see
No,
that-
no, seriously. Why did you let it continue playing after that whole Anon? And you just
I wanted to see how far they would go with it, dude.
just exit out of it. It's giving them airplay on this fucking shitcoin token.
Do you think
Gonna have no
everybody's gonna
value.
buy it based off of this review?
I can say it has no value. I can say that it's a Ponzi scheme. It uses the same Ponzi scheme economics as fucking Safe Moon and all these fucking charity, quote unquote, charity coins that are coming out. And it's all for fucking greed of growing somebody's fucking pocket.
A long time ago in a crypto galaxy far, far away.
And if anybody wants to challenge what the fuck I'm saying, I've worked in the crypto industry for fucking years, and I know way more than you do. That's all I got to say. I work with the mainstream cryptocurrency industry, so I know far more than you do. I've read way more white papers. I know a fucking Ponzi scheme when I see it. And that is a Ponzi scheme, and I'm gonna go back channel and fuck with these guys because I'm not dealing with that.
Don't mess with crypto, AK. Fucking anonnews.co.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. We got
Super
Crypto
anonymous.
AK.
Super
Crypto
anonymous.
AK is in the building, cuh.
Fucking pisses me off, dude. I used to write for that website. Like, I did not know that they would go this route. Fucking, I know that Sonny is struggling.
Why didn't you warn Sonny not to do this kind of stuff?
I did fucking warn him not to do this stuff.
No, it's not going to last, right? I mean, it's just.
I told him if he fucking does this, I said he'll have half of Anonymous on his ass. Or probably the whole entire fucking collective.
Well,
whatever, dude. I don't care. Like, it's what it is.
I like how you started, you know, in a crypto galaxy far, far away, you know.
They have a fucking... What the fuck is this? The Nyan Ken are a Japanese breed of dogs that nearly went extinct during the Second World War, but the breed persisted. Today's Inus, a breed of Nyan Ken, is very cute, stubborn, persistent dog, blah, blah, blah. This has led to a lot of... What the fuck?
Dogecoin is based off of a Shiba Inu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So everybody's been making fucking these shit coins.
So
like,
they're ripping off Star Wars Dogecoin?
Literally ripping it off because the Anon Inu is the Shiba Inu, which is what the Doge dog.
And there's a coin called Shiba Inu, and there's fucking...
Shout out to Sarah Wagner in the Rockfin chat for catching that too.
And there's all sorts of other fucking Inus. Like, I've been...
They're ripping off Anonymous, they're ripping off Doge, and they're ripping off Star Wars.
Any Inu they can get their fucking
And they
hands
launched
on.
a fucking Ponzi scheme. Because I'll tell you how this works, right? If you get in on this early, you constantly get more coins as more people buy in. So when people buy in, there's a fee. There's a fee for buying in. So you're not only paying the transaction fee, you're also paying a fee on the actual crypto. itself that's set up. So there's a fee there, and that fee is then used to pay holders. It's like a
in the crypto galaxy, far, far away.
It's a fucking party.
Oh my god, no, we're gonna get copyrighted.
No, that's just a few notes, not the whole song, but just
That's enough for us to get fucking taken down.
Like, everybody knows what song was just playing. And I love John Williams too. So, like, I'm with you, but at the same time,
But yeah, that idea.
How about, even if you fucking hum it, even if you goddamn hum it, we'll get taken down.
Fucking YouTube.
Fucking YouTube.
now I really want to hum John Williams.
But yeah, this whole thing is designed as a Ponzi scheme. It's basically like the users coming in, pay a transaction fee, and that transaction fee is given to the holders. But if you hold more coins, right, you get more of the transaction fees that come in. So, tell me how that's not a fucking Ponzi.
It is.
It's just how it's it's just how it's fucking designed. And the funny thing is, when I talked to Sonny, they said they were going to launch something called Annengate, not Ananino. So they changed up their thing, and they were going to launch a social media site called Annengate. And then I guess they figured, oh, that's way too hard to fucking do. So let's just launch a coin that does fucking nothing. It's deflationary.
Still, I think, because it is from Anonymous, the so-called real Anonymous, right? They should call it Lons coins or something like that. Not.
Yeah, I know, but they specifically call themselves anonews.co, right? They put that copyright on, so that's their branding, anonews.co. That's how they got out of it.
How can you copyright Anonymous?
No, they copyright anonews.co. They can't copyright Anonymous, so they call themselves anonews.co.
Because you can't copyright Anonymous.
You mean to say that it is just that company from the UK called Media Labs Ltd? You're saying? Who wants to look into it? That's the people behind it.
Big Anonymous.
Yeah. Just has an owner.
Public.
It just has an owner even. You can just search for Media Labs with an I, not with an E. Ltd in the UK, and you just see who the owner is of that fucked up website. Not that anonymous.
They have a big mouth, but no action will follow up on this.
Well, if you remember from the video that we just watched, they literally said about merchandise, this and that, and blah blah blah. Like, oh god, man, I'm telling you, dude. Like,
well, and then they were like, "Oh, we're in our ongoing meme war with Elon Musk." Like, y'all ain't doing fucking shit to Elon.
Nothing. They are doing nothing,
An ongoing meme war. Yeah, that's what Annans do. Yeah.
He dead ass said meme war, didn't he?
Yeah, meme war. Yeah.
I got a great idea. Great fucking idea for them.
Oh,
great fucking idea. Okay, you ready? Ready?
All right.
If they really want to scare Elon, let's see a deface of the Tesla website. I bet you can do it.
Yeah.
Crypto AK's calling you out. Hackers, they just have a bunch of those K-pop followers who have a big mouth but no skills.
No, none of them have fucking skills from what I've seen. I mean,
no skills. They have no skills, so
they're not even solid trolls. It's like anyone can troll and spam. Like, they don't even do
fucking clickbait for the goddamn YouTube ads, and it's clickbait for the goddamn ads on the website to bring in traffic. That's what it is. And now that because Sonny's desperate for money, I know he's desperate for money. I've talked to him and everything, and he wanted to cut my pay down and everything. So I know he's desperate for fucking money.
It's because they got
But-
shadow fucked on Facebook, right?
Yeah, and I get it, but this isn't the fucking way. It's not like, first off, you're launching a Ponzi scheme. You're going to get fucked in the ass by the authorities. I mean, they're
Bank of
going to.
England, the Interpol, fucking.
And of course, the trademark supervision. What are they called again?
The funny thing is, like, I offered Sonny a way out. Like, I gave him a way. Like, I gave him a legitimate project to promote, and he could have gotten like $1 million off of it. But he didn't take it, and instead he does this.
But first of all, doing it for the money is just wrong, right? I mean, back in the days that I was anonymous, I never did it for the money. I never did it for the fame. I did it for a good cause. Right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, in general, I know that he's hurting for money in general. So I was like, all right, well, I'll give you a legitimate way to make a ton of money, and you just have to promote this crypto, and they'll give you coins. And the coin, I was like, I was like, all right, you guys really want to go after Elon, huh? All right. Well, how about you promote this coin? It's called F Elon, and we're gonna do a whole event. We're gonna host a whole event where we drop a 1-ton Bitcoin on a Tesla in Ohio, and you can promote it, and you can get $1 million or more. And instead, he launches the cryptocurrency under Anonymous's name. I have no words, man. I said to him not to do it. I said, this Annengate thing. When they first started talking about Annengate, I was like, well, first off, building a social media site is not easy, buddy. I've been doing it for 5 years.
I think he's just butthurt that he lost a lot of money on Bitcoin. That's why he's doing this.
He's butthurt because he lost a lot of money from Facebook censoring all of the content. Because when we were writing on the website, like, I only wrote there for like a couple months, like 6 months, 8 months, maybe at the most. But regardless to that fact, I mean, I noticed the traffic like suddenly like dip like crazy. Like all of a sudden, we're not getting views anymore. Like before, we were getting like millions of views, and then it dipped down to like a couple thousand. So that's what I'm thinking about.
I think that whole anonymous coin will be a major fail, and the whole quote unquote mission against Elon will be a fail as well.
Of course, but I offered him a way to fucking at least like save face and like.
Why do you offer him a chance to save face? Because he's just making a fool of himself.
Because he has kids. I know he has kids. I've talked to him before, and I felt bad that he doesn't have money. So I was like, all right, well, I have an opportunity here, and it fits with what you guys just fucking did against Elon. So
I have a good tip for him. Get a job.
Yeah.
He works as a he works a job. I know he works a job. The website is like a secondary job. But anyway, so I mean, like, I offered him a way out, basically to say that Elon, because they were doing they did the whole video against Elon and everything, blah blah blah. But then they did nothing against Elon, and I was like, one, this is fucking pathetic for Anonymous, and two, if you really want to make money, instead of using Annet's name for a coin, here, promote this cryptocurrency. They'll pay you fucking for doing it.
I mean, they got trolled back by Elon. I mean, they look like fucking idiots.
I just honestly, I fucking hate Elon more than I hate them. So
That's true.
Why, don't you think
So
that
I
Elon is actually involved with this stuff? I mean, how hard can it be? This Elon guy is being threatened. Why isn't he sending lawyers to that Longmore Road where that guy lives?
Because they don't fucking like Elon doesn't give a fuck. He's living inside of SpaceX headquarters. He doesn't go anywhere. He just lives inside that SpaceX headquarters. He just moved into a $50,000 like fucking trailer park home. He's so weird. He sold all of his properties and everything and moved into this $50,000 home. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea. But he sold all his properties and moved in there with Grime and his kid. But he's not worried about any of this. Like I said, he has like security people. Like if there was a real threat, they would be alerting him to it. I mean, like, but they know it's just a fucking the smoke and mirrors thing. Also, like with Elon with PayPal, you remember years ago the PayPal 14. You remember that Elon was actually contacted by Anonymous and asked to drop the charges on the PayPal 14.
Yeah.
So he has history with Anna.
I know. He loves to make memes too. He's his own meme maker. Yeah.
Sorry, I have to do something here, so I will be quiet for a moment. The dog needed to go outside, and I ignored her, so she peed in the house, so I had to clean it. Poor dog. Be right back.
Okay. No, he's saying like this is like they're not openly threatening billion dollars company, and there's no consequences. They're just doing it in public, and there's a company behind it, a media company, claiming like an official copyright on Anonymous. It's like, what the hell is even going on there? Is that even like, is it just about money, or is this a complete fat operation? I mean, why aren't they being arrested? We have to work our ass off to stay like hidden and everything. We all use like crazy fake names and all that stuff.
No, at this point, I mean, a lot of us don't even give a fuck anymore because we're already on list. We're already being watched. We're well aware of it. If we're going to do any type of hacktivist actions, I mean, it's not going to be under these names.
Of course not.
Because these names are too well known, and that's not how Anonymous works. Anonymous works anonymously. And in the shadow,
you're not going to sign it with any of our names. You sign it with some group name you hate, some crew name you hate, like whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
They are not even hacktivists. They are just wannabe trolls, right?
They're grifters.
Yeah.
Thank you. That is the word that I'm looking for. Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
And yes, I did offer the grifters a way out. I offered them a way out. Well, Sonny, I offered the grifters Sonny a way out because I was like, all right, well, you're really about to like fuck up by publishing a adding cryptocurrency and having every fucking anon after your ass. I was like, well, instead of doing that, you can just promote F Elon. And at the same time, you get to be promoting the smashing of a Tesla. So, I mean, it's a win-win, But unfortunately, he never took that deal. And that whole entire thing just basically fell apart because I couldn't get it to I couldn't get the TV networks to fucking accept it. Like, they would not. They said it was too violent. And I was like, how the fuck is... Like... How is dropping a 1-ton Bitcoin on a Tesla violent? But okay. I think Elon has some pull in these networks. He's a billionaire, so why wouldn't he? You know.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Elon's got government contracts out the fucking wazoo. He's got
Good point.
that has never brought like a successful product to market. Tesla's never turned a profit. SpaceX has never turned a profit. He's just got these subsidized projects that all usher the West a little bit closer to transhumanism and total surveillance of every living organism.
Neuralink.
Yeah, what the fuck happened to that? What happened to Neuralink and how Elon said that once it comes out, he's going to get one in his own head? What the fuck happened to that one, huh?
No, good luck with that.
You scared, Elon? You scared about getting a fucking Neuralink in your head? Because, those IoT devices, they you put in a fucking IoT device into your head, man. Oh, I envy you, because if somebody finds an exploit for that and puts ransomware into your brain, oh man!
What if Super Anonymous actually does that? He just hacked the device in his brain.
No, seriously, like if there was a fucking device, this is why I said this Neuralink thing was a really bad idea from the start, because it's a computer device that you're putting inside your head, and if it's a computer device,
it's hackable.
It's hackable, and somebody out there is going to find a fucking exploit eventually for this thing, and when they do, if you better hope it's a goddamn white hat hacker, because if it's a goddamn fucking black hat hacker, you're getting ransomware in your head, and I don't know how that one's going to work. I mean, does your brain just turn off? Like, how would you pay? How would you pay it if your brain turns off? You know, like, or what would that entail? Like, now your thoughts are inaccessible. Like,
and what does he want to accomplish?
Your memories, like, you can't access your memories anymore. Like,
you want to go lawnmower man on us and upload himself on the internet or something?
Oh god!
Well, I don't see even practical applications for this, you know. I just see the dangers of having a computer installed in your brain. Nope, major fail. Right?
Yeah, that's what it is.
But yeah, you know, anonymousnews.co or whatever the name is, I don't really take them serious. Like I said, it's much blah blah blah, but no action at all, because they don't have the skills for any actions.
So, in other news, California approved the first nation's UBI program. Again, where are we getting all the money for this shit? Do people realize? Are we just kicking the can down the road until the whole entire fucking system collapses? Or
It's
people are
thy holy fed, AK.
Or people are so goddamn fucking poor that they can't afford any food, medicine, or anything? Because that's what's happening with inflation. Inflation is driving the prices of everything up.
It happened after the First World War with Germany, right? When the inflation
Oh yeah,
was ridiculous.
Well, it's like they had to use their cash as wrapping paper because wrapping paper was worth more than their cash.
Yeah,
but that was before the gold backing, right?
I think I think it because it was in like the.
Back in those days, you could print money as much as you have gold. But
So I believe can't remember. I can't remember the president. There was a president who backed the U.S. dollars with gold, and that's what got us out of. Oh, it was FDR. I'm pretty
I
sure.
thought it was FDR who took us off the gold standard. It was one of those two.
No, it was Nixon taking you off the gold standard. Not sure, but
It was Nixon. Nixon took us off the
Yeah.
gold standard. FDR put us on the gold standard, I believe.
That.
I'm not a crook. Right?
Yeah, I believe FDR put us
Simpsons.
on the gold standard. And when he did that, that brought us out of the Great Depression, I believe. And now we have amplified our inflation rate with the dollar is basically fucking worthless compared to what it was years ago. I mean, years ago, the dollar is back to gold. I mean, years ago, fucking $1 million was a lot of fucking money. It was worth a lot of money.
yeah, but that was
you know,
Greenspan's strategy. Greenspan promoted that. He said, like, because of the
All right.
constant inflation, you have to get as many credit cards as possible. Like, you have to borrow everything, because at the moment you have to repay it, the dollar is going to be worth so much less in value that you will be repaying less than what you borrowed now.
That's true. That is actually
So the dollar to gold ratio in 1913 was $28.88 per ounce, and right now it's $21,735 per ounce.
Jesus. And the gold standard was in effect way before FDR. The genuine gold standard only existed from 1879 to 1933. Prior to that was a bimetallic standard in which silver was dominant from 1792 to 1834. After 1933, it was a quasi-gold standard that gradually became pure fiat from the period of 67 to 73.
And now it is no standard anymore. You know?
Well, it's fiat.
Fiat,
It's
yeah.
space-based.
Okay.
it's backed
Yeah.
by oil. That's what it's
Nukes.
backed by. It's the petrodollar.
Well, that's the black gold, right?
It's, gentlemen, it is backed by freedom and democracy.
Bald eagle screaming over a Chevy truck.
Backed by freedom and democracy, we all broke.
Biden administration quietly admits that inflation surge could last years.
Inflation is not going to stop.
Got a guitar with Ford on it.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Inflation
our
can't
debt
stop.
as of-
Years?
Hey, inflation
Years.
can never stop. It is impossible for inflation to stop because it will destroy the economy. Just saying.
Of
Oh,
course.
nice. Our debt as of today is only 28.5 trillion.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, let me write you a check. How much you said it was?
It's all imaginary anyway.
It is.
Let me write you a check. I have that. Somewhere in my bucket, I have like a few million.
Yo, dude, I mean, I'll take some.
Right.
Maybe my landlord thinks it's real.
Yeah, I know, but so money getting less value, that is why the United States, especially with the petrodollar, invades all these countries around the world. Because resources do have value, and if your dollar goes down, those resources only increase in value. So what do? You get as much resources as possible.
And don't you think that that's just a game that the bankers are playing?
Yeah, well,
I mean-
they want the collateral. If the United States wants to borrow more money from the bankers are going to ask collateral, and the United States gives that collateral to the bankers. Like, simple. They're going to present it. They're going to say, like, yeah, we have another 3 trillion worth in lithium, so that means we can borrow 2 trillion from you because here is the collateral. So
Here
we
we
can
have
build
Cuba.
new whatever.
That is collateral, right?
Real estate is good collateral. If you capture Iraq and it's worth a few 100 billion now in real estate, but when you develop it, it's going to be a few thousand billion. Yeah, you can borrow a lot of money and say like, yeah, if we can't repay you, you can have it, and you can develop your condos for the rich there. Yeah.
Bottom line, money makes the world go round.
Yeah, now it's a war for resources until everything is gone, and then everything collapses. Like you already reached the limits. Other countries no longer accept it anymore. The Chinese don't accept that America gets all the resources and real estate. They're getting their own. So, yeah.
Well, the dollar has been pushed out of several countries as the main payment method. The dollar used to be popular in China and Russia, and was used for trade in various different countries. And now the dollar has been pushed out of Russia, China, various different countries in the Middle East. So the dollar's power has been weakened, and on top of that, we have inflation.
Can someone accept, by the way, Mad Mom?
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to say where things are going.
I don't see where she's trying to get in.
She says in the chat she's trying to get into the Etsy, Mad Mom.
Oh, there we go. Just popped up. Got you, Mad Mom.
Mad Mom! Welcome.
She has to make the face.
So, in other news, private Israeli firms helped governments hack journalists and human rights advocates. Can we use those drones for a nice purpose and just bomb the hell out of this Israeli firm? That's all I ask.
Well, to be fair, there's a group that's going at Elbit, the Elbit Arms Factory in the UK, and I know a couple of their activists have been arrested for it. So Palestine Action is the group's name.
Hold on.
Also on the topic of apartheid, they just destroyed the oldest known Canaanite cemetery in Palestine, in the town of Al Qadir, just outside Bethlehem. It was 4,200 years old, and just got buried over to make a road for the genocidal Zionist occupation. How fucking lovely.
Well, not to take away from what you said, but I wasn't done.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Yeah, you kind of interrupted me when I was trying to say this, but this is an incredible story. This Israeli spy firm called Kandiru. Basically, they hacked over 100 people around the world, including politicians, dissidents, human rights activists, embassy workers, and journalists. According to a Microsoft published report on fighting cyber weapons built by private businesses. Again, why is this firm not arrested? They hacked. I thought hacking was illegal, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hacking's illegal, right? Government, right? They broke the CFAA. Hello.
That only applies to us normies, you know.
No, hacking is illegal unless the government is doing it. Then it is legal, right?
No, fuck that. This isn't the government. This is a fucking private firm, like Palantir.
Yeah, but
well, it's okay as long as they contract them, don't you know?
No, fuck that. 100 people, over 100 people, including politicians, dissidents, human rights activists, embassy workers, and journalists. Every single person there that I mentioned should be a protected person.
Yep.
Sorry, not person. Category. Every category that I mentioned should be a protected person.
Should be, and Julian Assange should be walking free right now.
Politicians. Why is a private firm hacking politicians? That right there, if Anonymous hacked a politician and somebody got caught, yeah, they would go to prison. Prison time, please, for these guys. This is ridiculous. Embassy workers, another protected class.
I'll send them to the Chinese work camps.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we should put them in the Chinese work camps.
That's a good idea.
In fact, put every politician in Chinese war camps, re-education camps.
Oh yeah, that's
They'll just be re-educated into the Communist Party indoctrination, so that's not going to work too well. I advocate for lining up this private firm. All of these people in this private firm, line them up on across a fence, and chain them to this fence, and then allow everybody to kick them in their gonads.
You know what? I knew exactly where you were going with that, AK. And yes.
Stomp them in the nuts.
Stomp them in the nuts.
That's what I advocate for. That's what I advocate. You wanna hack democracy and hack human rights people and hack embassy workers and everybody else for governments and do it as a paid business. Well, then you deserve to be kicked in the nuts.
You should deserve a lot more.
Walls smashed.
I wonder if we would get copyrighted if I start playing the Boondocks version of Stomp 'em in the Nuts.
You're allowed to do 30 seconds. I think you're allowed.
In the Boondocks, there's this great song called "Stomp 'em in the Nuts."
Stomp 'em in the nuts. It's great.
Yeah, that would probably get us copyrighted. Yes, so you can't do that.
All right, I gotta split. I gotta get over to my kid's house and fucking take him down to the DMV, like at the ass crack of dawn.
Good luck with that.
Have fun. That's all I got to say.
Don't lose it.
Yeehaw.
I know the DMV's a bitch.
I know, dude. No, we're good. We're good. We got all of the paperwork hoops jumped through.
I feel with you. No, I hear a lot about handling the DMV. You know, it's literally the funny farm there.
Oh man, yeah. I hope it's not the same woman as it was last week. I hope I'll get a new number. No, not talking about
I think that walking into the it's like going into another time zone. You know, like everything goes into whoa.
Yeah, there's a terrible fucking movie,
Zootopia. I actually kind of like that movie.
Yeah. Okay, so I saw it. I took the kids to go see it, right? And like I was on some edibles and a little bit of mushrooms, so it was all right. But like the overarching theme, no. The animation's fun, and there are some hilarious scenes in it. There's some really funny scenes in it. But yeah, the DMV scene with the sloth, or all of the sloths, oh, it's perfect. It is.
See, if you want to watch an animal production that brings in slice of life elements from the human world done right, watch Beastars. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But actually, it is accurate, right? If you put like animals in the DMV, there would be strikes because they work really slow there. I hear. They're not really the fastest, right? At the DMV.
I just realized how far I'm away from popular culture right now. Yeah, I really don't watch any of that stuff. Sorry.
Have a good night, y'all.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
See, but you know anime well, and that's where Beastars come in.
Oh yeah, I do know anime.
Oh, anime. Oh, I love anime.
Right, it's the best.
Oh yeah.
Can't live without anime.
Biden considering U.S. intervention in Cuba as anti-government protests spread. I love how they're considering intervention as if they're not already over there helping in some way. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, the fucking pendejo that's mayor of Miami, he was on Fox News the other day talking about, oh yeah, well, I think airstrikes are in play for Cuba. Like, yes, no,
the fucking people.
Bro, Miami gusanos are a different level of fucking dumb. It's like people in Cuba are a different thing, but Miami people are just on some dumb shit nonstop.
I mean, did he say bomb the government or bomb Cuba? Because if he said bomb Cuba, you're just making another enemy there with creating another cycle of blood. I mean, you kill Cubans, and then the Cubans are going to come back, and now the Cubans are going to be terrorists against the U.S. because you can't fucking bomb people and think that they're not going to want to retaliate, or the ones that survive are going to want to retaliate. And in addition to the fucking families themselves, I mean, if you lose a family member to a bombing by the U.S., well, you're probably going to want to have a little bit of revenge there in the U.S. So, I mean,
Okay, yeah, here it is. Says, are you suggesting airstrikes in Cuba? Fox News anchor Martha McCallum asked Suarez. What I am suggesting is that option is one that has to be explored and cannot be just simply discarded as an option that is not on the table. And there's a variety of the ways the military can do it, but that's something that needs to be discussed and needs to be looked at as a potential option in addition to a variety of other options that can be discussed. Fucking coño su puta madre, go fuck off, Suarez.
Oh, don't use that language here. I do understand it a little bit, so I know what you're not gonna repeat it.
Dude, there's some weird shit going on with this Haiti thing. The Pentagon is now saying that the U.S. military once trained Colombians implicated in the Haiti assassination plot. The Pentagon! The fucking Pentagon is coming out against the CIA, essentially, and the military-industrial complex. What the fuck?
Isn't the Pentagon exactly that?
Yes, it is.
By the way, shout out to Divine. I saw him in the chat.
Oh, no, isn't the Pentagon involved in the CIA? No. The Pentagon is not, like, it's weird how the fucking military works. Like, the Pentagon is, like, the top of the military.
Yeah, the military, but not CIA. CIA is more like intelligence, right?
Yeah, but that's not Pentagon. The CIA is not Pentagon. The Pentagon's separate. But, yeah, that's very interesting. Pentagon came out and said that the U.S. military once trained Colombians implicated in the Haiti assassination plot.
I am negative surprised. Colombia is essentially like kind of an outpost for most of the CIA operations throughout Latin America.
I quote, "A review of our training databases indicates that a small number of the Colombian individuals detained as part of this investigation have participated in past U.S. military training and education programs while serving as active members of the Colombian military forces," Lieutenant Colonel Ken Hoffman said in a statement to the Washington Post. That's fucking weird, man. I've never seen the Pentagon come out against the military like this. Like, this is...
Well, it could be multiple reasons for it, right? You can multiple theories. You can, like, okay, so it could be legit, but on the other hand, it could also be like that they're aware that that the information is going to leak. It's public somewhere. It is someone is taking the information with him, so they're doing damage control and saying this is just an element within our organization, and we're like getting rid of it. So then we're clean again, right?
Psyops.
I was thinking more so it's them saying yes, these individuals were involved, but rogue. Like that's what I think that they're going for with this.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. That's what I meant too. That they're just saying like this is an element from within us. They went rogue or whatever, and now we're taking care of it or something.
No, Alice, it's not popcorn. It's chips. Potato chips. I saw Alice with popcorn and they're like, no, I'm eating potato chips here.
Oh, you know what? There was a meeting with a certain U.S. general in Colombia last year. Oh, I was just thinking about that. I was thinking about that because I thought that was I thought that was going to be for Venezuela, but it might not have been for Venezuela.
Well, I think in Venezuela there was actually a couple recent assassination attempts against Nicolas Maduro. I think so.
Would not surprise me.
Yeah.
The US fucking hates that guy, and it really would not surprise me if they tried to do multiple assassinations at the same time. But I mean, this is so brazen. I mean, I just don't know. I guess the Pentagon would have to come out and admit it if it was a botched operation and they got caught like this. I mean, I don't think that they were.
Yeah, I think it's what Mark said: damage control and maybe psyops that they try to do damage control before the evidence leaks out, right?
They would have to know. They would have to know that it's like 100% going to be leaking out, which is possible.
But guys, with the CIA, do you truly believe that a large organization of educated and diverse Americans are tyrants and support authoritarians? That's simply stupid and actually helps real. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm reading a tweet from John Cipher. That shit's funny.
What? Who?
John Cipher, former CIA clandestine services.
Oh my god! Oh, fucking give me that shit so I can just post above him. Yes.
I got you, AK.
Yes, with fucking evidence. Yes.
Oh yeah, he's getting properly ratioed for it.
Oh yes, I'm about to post the fucking Miles CIA agent Miles Copeland interview above him. Talking about fucking invading Iran. Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. You did it in Iran. Why wouldn't you do it in fucking Haiti and Cuba? Yes.
I mean, you didn't just do it in Iran. There was also Chile, Congo.
Well, Operation Ajax. You're right. I can. Yeah, I can go.
There's so much, really.
CIA, your friendly neighborhood dealer.
Yeah. Operation Timber Sycamore. Armed terrorist. Involvement in the Contras. So much stuff.
That's the tumbleweeds.
Oh, I'm just scrolling through this dude's timeline. It's hilariously ironic.
But yeah,
I'm about to go fucking all out on this guy. Hold on.
Again,
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking do it.
Crypto the AK getting on that ass.
You're going to be censored, AK, again.
I'm already censored. It doesn't fucking matter. This tweet's gonna go nowhere besides fucking people in VM groups that are just gonna laugh at how much I ream this guy's asshole. All right.
What did you say a dirty word for?
What, ream? I'm sorry, Mark. I can't say ream.
I'll share it, AK.
Come on.
Oh, okay. Well, while AK's working on that, I can say this coming Tuesday, July 20th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So that will be 12 p.m. East Coast time and 6 p.m. in the Netherlands. Will be X's court hearing via video, so you'll be able to call in and get a link. And because it's his first court hearing that we can really know of, we'll be having actions on that. Specifically, there will be one in Mexico, Mexico City, outside of the U.S. Embassy, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the U.S. Embassy. And also at the federal courthouse in San Jose, California, which is actually the location that's listed on the location listed as where X is supposed to appear. It's the Robert Peckham Federal Building, 280 South First Street at noon. That's when the San Jose action will be. Again, noon at the federal courthouse in San Jose, Peckham Federal Building. So yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think it makes sense too.
So what? Okay, so the Haiti thing, we didn't really cover the Cuba thing enough, right? Or did we? I do know they cut off the internet for people in Cuba. Protesters in the streets.
Yeah, which is fucking dumb. I mean, you need people to see how obvious of a color revolution this is.
I'm running a little bit of comms. I'm closer. Put it this way: I'm closer to Havana than I am Atlanta, and I'm running on the ham radios. We're running voice calls. If you look in the news and look on the papers, Florida, the demonstrations are crazy. I mean, they're blocking the roads and everything here in each city every day.
I actually mentioned that earlier, which is interesting how that comes out with the timing of the new anti-protest bill, which doesn't allow you to block traffic, which, I mean, I have no problem with them shutting down the Palmetto. I'm just like, yo, keep that same fucking energy for when we do it.
Yeah, but the thing is, I mean, also, Ron DeSantis is petitioning Biden to open up internet, and what we're doing is we are running some SKS and some different stuff that we're allowing people to contact their families. You know, here in Florida, and
oh yeah, I'm down in Broward, so yeah.
I'm just glad, you know. I mean, it just surprised me so much. You got DeSantis, and you got everybody in Florida. All the Republicans are all of a sudden like hitting Biden. Well, open up, you know, the comms. You know, let these people talk.
Yeah, well, I mean, and you also have them trying to run supplies to Cuba, but actually those are being stopped by the U.S. Coast Guard themselves. So that
well, see, but we've got a big thing going on. There's a big interference right there that people don't really realize, and that's because all the stuff that happened in Haiti, where the president, only one president since like 1930 have not been killed in office. They're trying to tell people from Cuba and Haiti not to come here on their boats at the same time. You know, and that's Biden doing that, not the Republicans.
Oh yeah, well, I mean the what was the policy called?
Dry foot.
Yeah, piso mojado. Yeah, that policy ended either under Obama or Trump, I'm pretty sure, but that was the one which basically allowed Cubans to come to Florida.
Under Bush. Actually,
oh, one-off. Sorry.
Yeah, the wet foot, dry foot. If you know, and that was a holdover from the Clintons.
The tweet has been done.
Oh, all right.
The tweet from hell.
Oh, this tweet basically shuts him the fuck up. Like it's pretty empty.
Nice. That's a good one, AK. I'll share it. Oh, they scrubbed my like right in front of me. All right. I think my like went through. No. Okay. Wait. Oh, you have 2 tweets. Okay.
Oh yeah, I posted the same thing twice on both his tweets.
I'll share it.
Because he said something stupid twice. I had to go and remind him. Twice. It just has to be done. I mean, yeah, it's so beautiful. I'm pretty sure I got most of what the CIA did in the last last 20, 30 years.
There's really so much.
Got most of the major stuff, at least. Panama, Guatemala, Congo, Vietnam, Chile, Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not even naming half of them.
That's naming like a quarter of the stuff that we know.
Yeah, the United States. We've got bases in over 140 nations. The United States does. Russia's got bases in 6.
That's funny.
We're in 140 nations. We're like, yeah, okay, we're just gonna be peacekeepers. But
this bot,
it don't work out.
This bot, the Congo bot, retweeted the tweet because I said Congo 1961.
Yeah, I retweeted it as well now.
Oh, that's gold.
Oh my god.
It's getting so many retweets now.
Yeah, they're just retweeting random stuff that says Congo on it, and then you scroll through it, and then you see AK.
He's a troublemaker.
But yes.
Yeah, they're gonna assassinate me.
They already did me. I've been so shadow banned I couldn't even find myself.
No. I mean literal assassination, not fucking Twitter.
To the
they might.
If that guy was in any type of way, I don't even know who the fuck this is, but if he was in any type of way involved with Octopus Promise, then I'm dead because I fucking brought that up. Who is this guy?
I don't know. He came in my mentions one other time because I said free Assange or something like that, and he was like, "Why?"
Why?
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, you don't know who you're talking to here. Let me tell you why." And then me and Steve ratioed him.
That's such a sad story, and it really is. And like X being locked up, I can understand that. And Mark will tell you, me and X have been friends. We're really close. Really, I mean, a lot closer than you probably ever think. But the two cases are not even close to each other. They're nothing alike. I agree with what X did, but here when I first met him in 2011 or 2010 or whatever, he was on a rampage where we've got Assange. Assange is actually a journalist.
Yep.
There's a big difference there. And, Julian Assange, I feel so bad for. This guy, he's been locked up for what, 11 years now? Not locked up in prison, but I mean, contained for 11 years. He hasn't known life since he was 39 years old.
Yeah.
And he's 50.
Well, I mean, 2 years, 3 months and 6 days in Belmarsh prison. alone.
Right, but what I'm saying is he's been doing this since he was 39 years old, and he just turned 50. He's lost 11 years of his life over this shit.
Not just for him, but also his family. You know, he has kids who doesn't see their father.
Yeah, I agree. But what I'm saying is that they've totally just took this part of his life away, and you can't. There's no way in the world you could ever give 11 years back.
Nope.
You know, even if they try to take any more, you know, it's, you know, yes, he was a hacker at one time. That was way before this. This was back in the 90s. He did get convicted of a little bit of hacking, different things. But as far as what they're trying to get him for now is actually like almost entrapment.
Right, Mandex.
Well, it is fucking entrapment. That's the key thing. I mean,
yeah, it's crazy though. I mean, how do you entrap this guy? You know, you're feeding him the information, and there's like what 140 alphabet agencies feeding him information to WikiLeaks, and only like 12 actual real informants if you really start digging into it. And then you find out they all lied. You know, and you know, he's trying to tell people how to stay out of trouble, and they're wanting to put him in prison for that.
Well, I saw an article that even the keys in that case lied. So the whole case is cracking up, right, against him.
well, it was originally an entrapment operation because it was Sabu and fucking pedophile guy Siggy, you know, that were under control of the FBI, and it's basically informant and informant talking to each other and saying, "Let's hack Iceland." With Julian Assange right there in the room, just with his feet kicked up on the desk, like he has no idea what the fuck's going on. Meanwhile, Siggy's over there taking pictures and saying that they're showing Assange in the room, this and that. And he has no idea what's going on in the room. And, you know, they use that and say that, oh, Julian wanted Losec to hack Iceland. When in reality, it was Siggy who even brought it up in a conversation. And he was under control of the fucking FBI. So it's informant talking to informant. And I don't understand how that case would hold any type of water at all, because it's
well, exactly. You know, if they had brought him to the United States in the very beginning, and they would have prosecuted him and they would have convicted him of everything that they're saying they've done, he'd already been out 3 years ago.
I just want to.
I mean, you know, they've destroyed this man, and you know, I mean, there's no legal grounds to do it. And right now, he's being a pawn played between the UK and the United States, because the United States wants Prince William over the Epstein bullshit, over being a pedo, and all the UK has got right now is Assange. So until
they don't want
we'll never get Prince William to the United States.
They don't want Prince Andrew. They don't want Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew would unravel the whole entire Epstein thing, and it would.
Well, Andrew and William, but William was the main involvement. But what I'm saying is they're playing that trump card that you can't access him, you know, for the Epstein stuff, which is, I'm sure the shredders are still running on all them papers right now. You know, but as long as they hold Assange, you can't really go after Prince William.
I don't. Where are you?
I want to say one thing about
Prince William. I don't understand how Prince William involved in this.
Well, the FBI wants to. They've already asked like 4 or 5 times. The FBI has asked for Prince William to come here and answer questions under oath. And it's not going to happen as long as they've got Assange.
That's Andrew. But they specifically, the State Department blocked it. This is pretty funny because the DOJ wanted Andrew to come over to the U.S. and testify, and the State Department stepped in and blocked the request. So they don't want Andrew. And I'll tell you why the State Department blocked the request too, because they blocked the request because it would unravel the Clintons' involvement. But as I've said before on Twitter, and I said a few weeks ago, there's a concerted effort to go after the Clintons and take down the Clintons within this Epstein network. And we've already just seen today there was an article that was put out saying that Bill Clinton had 2 more flights than thought on Epstein's plane.
Out of the Near East over Thailand, all that. Yeah, I remember. But you actually ever believe that a Clinton is going to be convicted of anything?
There is a concerted effort between
maybe posthumously, but not now. I mean, they're the most well-connected people in the world. I mean, they've got the world by the ass. I mean, you'd sit here and talk about Elon Musk and everybody else, but you know, the Clintons, you're not going to touch them. You know, I mean, they are royalty in the United States.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just repeating what exactly I've kind of heard and from talking to certain people. There is a concerted effort to take down the Clintons, and whether or not it does take down the Clintons, we'll see.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, though. I mean,
no,
I'd love to see the Clintons hang.
I'd love to see the Clinton crime family be taken down, and
it's not going to happen,
and things be exposed. They have a lot of blackmail and a lot of high-level FBI officials, though. However, according to the source that I've talked to, I mean, there is a concerted effort to go after them by low-level. I would say low-level. FBI officials and journalists. We'll see.
Is this before or after the Mueller report?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying. I mean, you'll get that Mueller report with all the stuff on Ukraine and all that against Biden way before you'll get a damn thing on the Clintons. I promise you. And I don't think any of it's going to happen.
Was that not only Monica who was on?
Is Mueller involved? Is Mueller involved in the investigation in Biden now?
What happened was they're still waiting on the report, and they spent $25 million or a little bit more on the report, and Mueller's holding all this stuff. He's got it. He's got the information.
Well, Mueller was Russiagate, so is he also involved in the investigation in Biden? Because I didn't hear that.
Well, he is as a witness, and that's where that Durden thing comes in. And what happened to that? You know, I mean, that was supposed to be released a year and a half ago.
I don't know. I know nothing about that. Like I said, I just know that there is a concerted effort. Whether or not it's going to be a successful effort, who knows? But there is a concerted effort to go after the Clinton crime family and expose things.
Yeah, that stuff will be all posthumously, though. That I mean, they'll look back at that history and say, you know, and they'll still whitewash the Clintons. I mean,
I think that too, and even
look
then,
at Epstein.
And even then, like Chelsea Clinton will manage the media part of that because of her involvement with outlets like the Daily Beast, etc. So, yeah.
They are highly involved.
Here's the thing: they can only do so much. If enough comes out, there will only be so much that she can do.
Well,
what do you mean if enough comes out? I mean, look at the Clinton body count. I can send you a a link that tracks them back to the 70s when they first
I'm the
met.
I'm literally the one who ran that account off Hillary Clinton on the whole entire election thing.
Well, this is back from way back before. I'm talking about the 70s when they first met.
I know. I compiled a whole list of everything the Clintons did. That's how I have all these connections within basically former intelligence officials and military officials and stuff like that, because they saw that and reached out to me and started talking to me, and that's how I had a
It's true though. But it's true what he says. Though. They have like their claws like in pretty much everything, right? And then
they do.
They're also close with the other side of politics, right? They're close friends with like Bush and etc.
FBI Filegate. They compiled a list of all FBI officials at the time and got dirt on everyone. Now, that's what I'm saying to you here, is that the higher up officials are not going to be involved in taking down the Clintons. But there is a concerted effort within the low ranking, I would say, the low level FBI.
That's why I'm saying that will never get past. It won't get past go. It won't get $200.
Nope.
It won't even. It won't even make it to Market Street.
Well, if Ghislaine sings like a bird in court,
FBI agents will investigate this. They will be stopped by the higher bosses.
If Bill Clinton come out today and said, "I'm guilty of every bit of this shit, and I've been to Epstein's Lolita Island 100 times," before they would get into court, he would die of old age.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I think so too.
he is about. That's another thing too. He is on his deathbed in a sense. Within the next couple of years, at least. I mean, he's very frail. You can see that he's very frail.
Everybody knows it was not just Monica sucking on his, you know what, right?
No. If only it was just Monica Lewinsky. No, it is.
Monica. Everybody blue dress. I mean, everybody's got the blue dress.
Yeah, but see, that was presented. Cool. That was presented as the sex scandal, right? But the real sex scandal was, of course, the visits to that Lolita Island thing. That was covered up.
That's why Epstein didn't make it past go.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at that whole thing, you can find 500 different views of what happened to Epstein, but none of them turn out that he hung himself.
Nope.
Yeah, well, he was obviously not the leader of the organization. This is again like a.
But he was in the higher ranks of that organization. I think they shut him up so he couldn't frame the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the record keepers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's the thing, though. If Ghislaine, because all of her attempts to try to get out of prison have failed, and she really wants to get out of prison, if she starts singing,
she'll be dead.
I mean, here's the thing: she hasn't been killed like Epstein was. Why? Because she's under heavy surveillance.
How did Ghislaine Maxwell make her money? She kicked her dad off the boat, right? Over in the Mediterranean?
I mean, that's not accurate.
No, it pretty well is that she was on the ship where her dad fell overboard and drowned, and she inherited hundreds of millions of dollars.
Well, she inherited money, yes, but there's no proof that she was the one that killed him. I mean, he was involved.
There's not no picture, but it was pretty convenient at the time.
He was involved in a lot of intelligence affairs that anybody would have killed him over. I mean, he was involved with Promise, and everybody involved with Promise software died. Like all the journalists that investigated it died. All the witnesses died. The only one that was surviving out of everybody was Michael Reconasuto, who was in prison at the time, and he was trumped up charges on making a meth lab. So, I mean, like anybody could have killed him. That's the thing. I mean, he was
Yeah, but
also
the only thing I'm saying is that Ghislaine Maxwell, she comes from another Clinton untouchable family, and they've got her. I'm sure she's not suffering a whole bunch where she's at.
Ghislaine was actually a member of the Clinton party.
She was always involved with the Clintons. Everybody knew that.
Well, no, because everybody says, why was Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein at the White House years ago during the Clinton administration? And she was an official Clinton party member and even stayed at the same hotel as Bill Clinton. So, I mean, like...
But she was good friends with who's Hillary's sidekick, Anthony Weiner's wife. They were close friends.
Was you're talking about Huma?
Yeah, Huma Abedin and Ghislaine Maxwell. I've got them on my drive somewhere. Hundreds and hundreds of just emails that they pass between themselves. So Ghislaine Maxwell, she's part of that whole Clinton thing too. I don't think that not much is going to happen to her. I mean, they're going to drag this out to where people forget about it. Unless we can get another Republican in the White House or something.
And to put it in Morpheus' word, the rabbit hole goes much deeper. Right?
I'm just telling you what I've heard. That's all. That there's a concerted effort to take down the Clintons.
I mean, I don't want to know even how many rich bankers and other politicians are involved in this whole Epstein affair, right?
I could say a little bit more about it off air, but I don't want to.
No, but
it's gonna sound peculiar, but I don't want to.
No, I agree with you.
Operations that are ongoing.
No, I agree with you on that, but I'm saying these low-level stuff, they've already tried to high-level. They'll die of old age before they ever go to court.
Yep.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, let's just say that the low-level people have some type of help. We'll go with that. I won't say anything more.
We can give some.
There are honest people still in the DOJ. They're just not in power.
And we can give some info about bankers. I mean, we know Deutsche Bank was deeply tied in with Epstein, and a former,
and the Clinton Foundation.
Deutsche had several suicides happen. Concerning Epstein's bank accounts, people that were around Epstein's bank accounts, and there was even a case against Deutsche Bank where the judge's house was shot up.
Don't you mean quote unquote suicides? Because
well, that's why I said suicides. Like your quotes.
But the thing is, the high level ones, they have an army of lawyers behind them, and it's really difficult to get them into jail, right?
So, not to change the subject, but anyway, what do you think about this stuff about, because we did have him on the show and we did talk to John McAfee. What do you think of this stuff about Janice saying that suicide note's not him, and that's not what it was meant to be?
Yeah, I side with Janice on that. I looked at the note. There's no crease in the note, so how the fuck would there be no crease in the note if that was in his pocket? Right?
Yeah.
No, I agree, because there were so many corrections that if you're writing a suicide note, you're not writing corrections and editing while you're going. I mean, you're.
No, yeah, that was weird too. I agree with that, but also the words that were used, it's just very bizarre.
Right.
I don't think it's John. I don't think it's John's writing at all. That's my opinion on it.
You hang yourself and you have time enough to make corrections in the suicide letter, right?
I mean, John McAfee. I mean, I'll agree. He was, in the last 5 or 6 years or whatever, he's been a couple cans short of a 12-pack. But he was so. I mean, Mark will tell you. He's so adamant about and so straightforward. I think he'd have fought with this stuff till death.
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I don't think he'd just kill himself. I mean, that's not what I ever got from him.
And of course, the conflicting tweets that he made, right? The things that he was saying, like, if I ever commit suicide, it was not me.
I'm not sure why we're not naming the Deutsche Bank people involved with Epstein, but we have the names, so I don't know. You just say that this Paul Morris guy introduced Epstein to Deutsche Bank, and he worked together with a guy named Charles Packard to do that, and both of them went on after the whole situation to work for other big banks in the U.S. And there was Michael Shapiga, he was the general counsel for the Americas, also involved, and a Miss Ford was also, and she joined 1 week before. She was 1 week before the whole Epstein meeting. She joined the bank. And you have Paul Morris and Packard. They both left the bank, and Morris went to Merrill Lynch, where he's now a private wealth advisor, and Packard joined Bridgewater Associates, a hedge fund created by Ray Dalio. So yeah, interestingly enough,
I agree.
But interestingly enough, the New York Times exposed this, and there was a whistleblower feeding information to the New York Times about Deutsche Bank. That guy disappeared, and we posted about it, and that guy disappeared suddenly. Like, his car was found. He disappeared in California.
Right, but Mark, I remember when we had the show with him on there, when he was dressed up, for Halloween? I think it was Halloween Eve or something.
Yeah, Joe McCaffrey.
He was all dressed up and ready to go, and but I had known him for, maybe 10 years before that. Talked to him several times. But he was never the kind that he would commit suicide. He would make you kill him.
Yeah.
I mean, he never had that, like, even when he was like, they got him in the DR down in Dominican Republic and took his boat and all that stuff. He was never, suicidal. He always had that survival instinct. And it just never come off to me that he would do that. I mean, even to make a spectacle out of it. But I think he planned on coming back and actually fighting over all this stuff. I'm not sure. I mean, that's another, like, Epstein mystery. All these things are kind of crazy.
It's highly suspicious, right?
In other words, if you got a lot of money, don't be hanging around certain people. I mean, McAfee, he had pictures of him with the Clintons too. Back in '93 and '94.
Yeah.
With Bill Clinton. I mean, this is like, it's kind of spooky. It's like you don't want to make friends with anybody that's got a bunch of money.
But still, the action that he did with the virus infecting computers, giving it to the government, that was great action. Right?
I had some balls, that guy, seriously. So that's why I also think he didn't just commit suicide. It's a weird story.
Well, when we had him on that on Halloween Eve, I was actually in the back running a few things. I knew exactly where he was at. He was actually in Portugal at the time, and he was all dressed up, and they're like, "We got to go to this party." And I'm like, what did he say? He was in a Faraday room. He wasn't in a Faraday room. He was just in a hotel room.
Yeah, but this info, he perfectly understood how intelligence agencies work. Is that you don't hide for them, you actually feed them disinfo. So
right, but the disinfo wasn't there. I knew where he was. I knew exactly where he was at.
Yeah, but he was, of course, like using like proxies, etc., locations that would point him to a different direction. would point people to different directions, because we who like have experience dealing with actually being targeted by intelligence agencies, know we have to use disinfo. That's the only thing we can do.
Yeah, misdirection is direction.
Yeah, hiding is not an option.
The action with the virus infected computers, giving them to the government, he had a lot of dirt on government officials, right?
Well, the biggest thing is, if you think you're hiding from anybody, you're crazy. Nope. If you don't think they know where you're at, I'm running proxy chains and VPNs, and I've been doing it my whole life, and I'm not, I know they know exactly where I'm at. They know who I am. They've got everything. They know when I go in to take a piss. I mean,
they are data hungry. These people are data hungry, so they're very good at collecting. So the only thing you can do is actually make them, overwhelm them with information, right? The wrong stuff.
You misdirect them.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's no such thing anymore as privacy.
So I had a friend so Google knows, for example, if you search on Google, you search crap on Google, they know that they record your searches and they make a profile of you. Well, I had a friend, he wrote this script, and every few minutes it would make random searches on Google. That's how he was able to search on Google for the stuff he actually liked, because his script would make random searches all the time. So they were unable to profile him.
That's good.
Oh, exactly. That's the misdirection. Is that it's just like on Twitter when they put them things up there when they ask you what you want to follow or whatever. You click on everything.
Yeah.
Click on everything. Who cares?
Wait. Well, let's set some rules there for that. When Twitter asks, "Do you want to follow the CIA or the NSA?" You say no.
I think you'd be in trouble if they already know you if they're asking you that question in the first damn place.
That's a good point.
Well, I've been asked that question many times, but the funny thing is, with all of these social media and search companies specifically, what they do is they have partnerships with each other's companies, and then they use all the data that they collect on us in cookies and everything, and they use that and display ads cross-site on all of their partners' websites. That's how all this works. So if you search a car, say you're searching for ordering a brand new car online, right? And you go on YouTube, right? You'll start getting fucking ads for buying a brand new car.
Well, if you sit on the couch and you're not even talking, you're not even doing anything on the internet. If you're on Facebook or something, and you're sitting around talking to your girlfriend on the couch about used cars or something, the next time she logs on to Facebook, there'll be used cars.
Yep.
And they know when your 14-year-old daughter has her period, and they'll even sit there and advertise tampons.
Too much information.
They're saying Facebook itself says they have 5,000 data points on everybody that's ever been on their site.
Yeah,
because as an advertiser, you can actually buy advertising based on all these info points. So it's just open. It's not even secret.
The advertising is nothing. No, that's window dressing. I'm just saying the government.
I think advertising is about
millions of gallons of water, cooling servers. They're getting copies of every bit of this too.
Oh,
that's the bad part.
I think the advertisers can choose a 2,200 data points or something. So
they're paying for every one of them. And that's why Zuckerberg's doing what he's doing, and that's why Elon Musk and all them going into space, whatever they want to do. But the government's sitting back there just collecting all this shit up.
Oh, fuck Zuckerberg.
At this point, I actually wish I had Thor on.
They even know what it smells like.
At this point, I wish I had Thor on, because I dealt with him back then. We were completely banned from Facebook, and we were trying to get back on because we had something to finish there. And we did whatever we could. I used VPS servers on different locations, everything, fake IDs. I was not able to get back on it at that point. So we were trying to find out how is this AI catching us each time, because we used every technical method possible, and the only thing that was left that we could think of was that they actually record and pattern your mouse movements, right? So they know in what like what pattern you click on things and how fast you move your mouse.
So
That's true.
They put an XI raster, right? You have like the X is like the horizontal and the I is like the vertical line, and they actually calculate like exactly what your movement is on that pattern.
Well, I'll tell you what they do. I'll tell you exactly what they do, and I don't know if they do actually track your mouse movements, but I can tell you what they do. They, when you sign up for Facebook, they log your hardware ID of your actual computer.
Change that in 2 seconds.
Well, yeah, that's right. You can change your MAC address. You can change your actual router's MAC address, but your modem MAC address is what you can't change. So what they do is they take all of your information, right? So it's similar to like an IRC years ago where you got a G-line ban, a global G-line ban, and basically they have all of this hardware information on your computer, and when you go to sign up or you're banned, it will look for that hardware information and say, this user is banned, and then it'll ban your account if you try to start a new one.
No, I agree with you on that. But I've got a little program up on GitHub. I'll throw it up somewhere that it'll change it like every 10 minutes. It'll change your MAC address, all your hardware. It'll change your GPU, CPU, change your RAM, change everything like every 5 minutes you're online. That I wrote. It's up on GitHub. It's been up there for a long time, for about a year and a half. Ever since I found out, like Windows 10, you can change the MAC address in 2 seconds. But
every single time my Linux boots, it changes the MAC address, it changes the all of the hardware information, and also in addition to that, it has a kill switch with VPN.
Yeah, exactly. It might be mine then.
No. This is a script that I partially copied and wrote. So basically, what it does is it takes the config file and changes everything based off of Linux commands. So yeah, I mean, I have my computer set up so it can never connect outside of a VPN, and is behind a antivirus killing VPN. So basically, it kills viruses and malware, and then won't let you connect to a malware site and this and that. Like, there's a whole suite of different.
I've got the same thing.
Okay, for people in the chat, like you talk about the MAC addresses, there's actually also a freeware program called Technitium MAC Address Changer. You can just download it and spoof your MAC address if you want to change that. It uses like random.
Well, if you're on Windows 10 or Windows 11, you can go in there and manually change it.
Yeah, you can change it in your registry.
Just Google that, or I wouldn't say Google it, but Go or something to the way to do it. But they're getting so serious now to where they're actually you've got to have something in the script that changes the temperature on your CPU, GPU, your RAM. I mean, they're getting that fine to where they're starting to trace it down to just temperatures. So
temperature.
I mean,
why would they trace down the temperatures?
Because they can trace the temperature of your CPU, your GPU, and your RAM, and match it up against your MAC address. And if it's like steganography, it's almost like the way you type words out, what the order and that you use letters and words. They can use the temperatures if you're running a big thing. Like most of us are probably running servers, but they can take and track you by the temperatures through there because they'll get the address of your GPU through that. So you got to change all that crap. And the type of, RAM that you're using, it's all identifiable now.
Yeah,
Well,
but Tor browser also
RAM-
says it. Tor browser says like make sure that you don't maximize your Tor browser because they can identify your screen resolution, for example. So you always have to take care of those things.
Never maximize your resolution.
No, if you but they know that is also a way to identify people to know a screen resolution of your monitor, like that makes the pool a lot smaller, right? Because you have like billions of people on the internet and they have all these different resolutions. Well, if you have an exact resolution, that reduces it to a few million in the USA, for example. So you make a pool a lot smaller, and then you combine it with other things.
Well, that's true, but I mean, to like you can identify a screen resolution, but then when you identify a screen resolution, if you get back a spoofed MAC address, I mean, I don't understand how the temperature stuff would find a real MAC address
Because it'll identify the GPU you're using. It'll tell you what cards in your. I mean, if you're running NVIDIA, the big ones like, 3080, whatever, or the 470s, they can tell by the temperature, how many cores are on your GPU. It's just like it's like Mark said, it's a puzzle. It all fits together. Just like the way you type words. Because they know everybody's faking their MAC addresses and stuff. It's pretty simple to find.
Yeah, but if you're faking your MAC address and then connecting directly to a VPN on boot, I mean, and then
okay, if you're running a Threadripper with 32 or 64 cores in it, and all of them are running at 106 degrees Celsius, and then you got two video cards in there, say just 2080s that are running at 112 degrees Celsius, and it all matches up. It's the same thing as a fingerprint, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Especially
also
when they start adding up your RAM and stuff.
Also keep in mind that they can compare stuff if they already suspect that you're a person, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, and then they can start comparing, like with the screen resolution too, and with the temperatures and stuff. If it matches with the person they're suspecting that you are, then they have a confirm on that too. So it will make them like they can submit it to whatever intelligence, and you can get rated or whatever, right? So yeah.
Right, like that's why I said it's just like a MAC address. It's a fingerprint that's left behind. They're going so much through all the data now that they know where you're at. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this since I was a kid in the 80s, and I don't act like I'm hiding from anybody anymore. I mean, I might be hiding from somebody, hacking my stuff or whatever, or trying to put a malware or something on there. But hiding from the government, you might as well forget that shit. That ain't happening.
Yeah. Well, and sites like Facebook, for example, they use like aggressive connections to your computer, like they use an AJAX system, right? And they have like through that's like a improved version of like JavaScript that they have had in the past. It connects directly to your computer, use your computer resources. But like even if you use like Tor browser or something to go to Facebook, you open a chat, and it will like have this little button of your microphone, a little button of your webcam, and see what happens when you click it. It connects to it, right? It circumvents the Tor browser. It literally goes right through it. There's no more protection. Like it literally connects directly to your computer. They identify exactly what microphone you have, what webcam you have, and that is in most cases already enough to identify exactly what laptop you have, for example, or what phone you have.
All they do is add a few more things in there, and they can match it.
That's
not a problem.
Combine that with the screen resolution, you know exactly what phone someone has. Exactly.
Well, that's why screen resolution. We learned that back in the 90s. You never maximize your screen because then they'll know exactly what you got there. But
On a browser, you don't have
that's
to.
like the
Yeah.
Wild West. You know, now it's like it's a science now. You know, whoever dreamed up data harvesting back when Google first started doing it, because my favorite, you know, search engine was Dogpile. Okay, Google was a new thing on the block. That's like '97 or something like that.
Wow, I thought you'd be using Alta Vista or something.
Yeah, Alta Vista back, you know, it was back then, you know, and it was like I'd never use this Google thing. You know, my favorite search engine then was Dogpile. And whoever thought up this data harvesting and collecting and selling, they're more intelligent than anybody that's come up with cryptocurrencies, anybody that's come up with any other idea in the world. When data becomes the most valuable thing on the planet, you know, I mean, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, your data, they can sell it to anybody. You know, I mean, everybody's got the data points. And it doesn't matter if you got your first little iPhone or Android phone. Somebody's collecting shit.
Well, the IMEI number, I mean, that's for phones. I mean, that's the big one. I mean, when you download an app or when you install the App Store, and log into the App Store with your device for both Android and iPhone, every single app that you download, you send your IMEI number to.
Yeah. So okay. So those are
it with your Outlook, and you're really screwed.
Yeah, because those are the hardcore identifiers. You have an EMI number, for example, or you have those things. Those are like the IP address, a MAC address, and IMEI number. Those are the like the solid identifiers. But we have to realize they won't give up if they don't have those identifiers. That's when they start looking at like the screen resolution and all these things, right?
But then you walk into the room with your phone in your pocket, and you know, if you got your Bluetooth or anything on, all of a sudden your computer's going to want to try to sync with it. So there goes your computer. You know, that's the minute your contacts go. You know, all of a sudden you're copying a few contacts over and you're screwed. You know.
Yeah, but even your browser version, you visit with your browser version aside. They know what browser version it works on which OS, right? And when it is downloaded, all these things they can now take from the version. So there is yeah.
Well, what's really interesting, I mean, is that with an IMEI number, they would be able to trace down whoever downloads an encrypted app, and if they have a warrant request for encrypted communications, they would be able to know that the app for the encrypted communications was downloaded by this phone. And that, therefore, kills their argument against pedophiles using encryption, because they would be able to find out who these pedophiles are by looking at the IMEI number and sending a warrant request to the actual applications that pedophiles are using.
Actually, right now, they're Facebook's going through a phase right now where they're wanting to take their messenger and encrypt it.
Which is saying that for years. We'll have ours
but
out.
No, but it's crazy because 94% of the pedophiles in today's world, and you can look this up all you want to, are busted over Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, I believe that.
You know, it's the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They're on there all day long. They get stuff from Facebook every day, and that's 94% of them are coming from there.
Or 94? Holy shit! I mean,
that's what they're saying.
I don't know how fucking stupid those pedophiles are. Then I mean, I know that there's high tech pedophiles that use like fucking encrypted services like Mega and Wicker and stuff like that.
No, I do talk to pedo hunters, and they all say Facebook is like the biggest thing.
It is. I mean, I'm a pedo hunter. I've been a pedo hunter for years, but You look it up. You can actually research it. And what they were saying is last year, it was 94% came through one way or another. It was a complaint through Facebook that got them arrested. And so now they're wanting to do Instagram and they're wanting to do their messenger and encrypt it. And the government doesn't want them to do it because they're afraid that they're going to lose, because they can't bust 128-bit, let alone
I don't think
256.
Facebook and encryption go together in the
No.
same sentence.
Well, they're wanting to do this though, and they've been putting it up saying they're gonna do it.
They've been saying it for fucking years, and even if they do it, it's not going to be real encryption. It's going to be a backdoor for scanning conversations. I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be like the freaking WhatsApp or Signal encryption. Encryption in quotes.
and that's another thing. They own fucking WhatsApp. What's stopping them from integrating WhatsApp?
That is part of the 94%. Is Instagram and WhatsApp.
Well, that's the thing, though. With Messenger, they don't need Messenger anymore. They could have integrated WhatsApp a long fucking time ago.
Well, they did, and the 94% is coming from all the programs and all the different, parts of Facebook. There's so many.
But what I'm saying,
now they're into the video where they got, because they never owned their own video until like a year and a half ago. Facebook Live was owned by somebody else.
right, but what I'm saying is they could use WhatsApp to replace Messenger in their Facebook app. All they'd have to do is just API connection for that. It would not be very hard to do. It would take probably a month or two to do. So it's just ridiculous for them to say, "Oh, we want to do encryption and we haven't done it yet." Yeah, it's just fucking. It's just bullshit. Because they.
I agree, but all I was saying was all of that WhatsApp and all that stuff that's included in that 94%. It's not exclusively from, the Facebook channel itself and the Facebook Messenger. It's what's coming down through Facebook. They're one of their main things is
WhatsApp. I could see a lot. I could see a lot coming through on WhatsApp. I've heard a lot of stories about WhatsApp being used by pedophiles, so I can see that.
And that's why I said that. That's part of the 94%. It's all not coming just from Facebook Messenger or something. It's from the whole carton of Facebook applications.
Right. I gotcha.
There's so much in
but
the chat.
it comes back to where, like I said, if you think you're hiding from somebody on the internet, and I've been in this a long time too, I'm not saying I'm an old guy, the best at anything or anything else. I'm just saying, but if you think you're hiding from somebody, you got a problem. I mean,
Yeah, so
you're
OPSEC now is a lot of disinfo now. So instead of like maximizing your screen resolution, for example, you just put it like in a window close to a real screen resolution, or it is like change your behavior to be a different person. Like what I said with that the Google queries too. Like my friend that used to do that, make like all these fake Google queries the whole time. Makes it complete chaos for them to make a profile out of you. So yeah, there are methods to actually like, obfuscate your stuff and not fuck yourself over.
And that's why I say that the biggest business in the world now is data on people. Gold doesn't mean shit. Cryptos don't mean shit.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Banks
it's
don't mean
surpassed gold in terms of being the most important commodity, or the most expensive commodity now.
Well, it's like, the cybersecurity business. What was that developed out of? That was developed out of us going in and cracking these little websites and, doing this and that. And they're still 20 years behind. But if they can collect your data and sell this stuff, even on, say you've got a kid that's 3 years old, they already know the data on your 3-year-old child because you looked at it online or something. You're already starting to build that portfolio for them. And there's just, when is it going to end? There's no end to this. They're going to have data on everything. I mean, you can't hide for they're already starting to take DNA from kids when they're born. They've been doing that for what, 20 years now?
Oh yeah, there was someone who wants to talk about this DNA thing in the chat. Navigator, and she wants to talk about, let me see.
Oh, the 23andMe thing?
Yeah. Maybe you know more about that.
23.
Uh,
You spit in like a little vial, or you take like a cheek swab or something, and the idea behind it is you send off your DNA, and then they give you like tracings of your ancestors and like where your ancestors came from, so you can find out I'm a 50% Jamaican and 50% areas in Europe where my white side came from. But it's like, in the process, you're giving your DNA directly to fucking Eric Schmidt and Google and all these fucks. Because it's like, there are people who do these tests and they never get their results back. So, like, where do you think it's going?
Well, they just say I did Ancestry.com. I honestly did that. I got it for Christmas like 2 years ago. My girlfriend gave me the Ancestry.com thing, and they asked me when I submitted it if I would share my information or I wanted to hold it private or what. I was like, fuck it, share it. You know, I mean, I'm not a rapist. I'm not a pedophile. I don't care if there's somebody in my family that you'll find it is. That's great. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, they're gonna get it anyway.
That's true.
You know, somebody in your family has done this somewhere that they can link it to you, even if you're, you know, a generation away. That they will find you.
Well, I mean, that's how they find you to begin with, because they already have those links. And I mean, Europeans are good record keepers. So, and that goes back centuries. So. Right.
The good thing that I found out, though, that and I'll be honest about it, the first thing is that I'm a certain percentage of North African American. And I never knew that.
Oh.
And so, that kind of opened up a whole new thing. I was like, what are they going to call me now?
Oh my God.
I'm part German, part English, part African, North African. So, what category am I in now? Yeah, it's like everybody in the United States, it's like your family tree that everybody will say, well, we got some Indian in us way back somewhere. One of our relatives were Indian at one time, Cherokee or something.
It was Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, freaking Elizabeth Warren. I'm 1/16 Cherokee. Yeah, not fuck out of here. And I'm 1/16 Taino.
Yeah, she didn't even hit the average of the average. I mean, she was below the average American with something like 0.79% or something Native American. And she was like 0.11 or something. So we're like, her granddad walked by an Indian that farted one time.
Yeah, so what I want to give as an opinion on that, Navigator, and is that these things that make you voluntarily submit your DNA and stuff are just to normalize this whole thing in the same way as they're normalizing chips. Like with in the past you had the fairy chip and whatever, and you can get like, it still is very common now to use chips on your dogs and stuff, and they said like, yeah, we have to chip young children too, so you just you won't lose where they are and whatever, they can't get kidnapped or something. So they're normalizing these systems to do it voluntarily, And then at the point, because many people were always like super resisting against giving your DNA away to whatever law enforcement and stuff. Well, they're normalizing it like this in popular culture and stuff. Make it very normal for you to deliver it voluntarily, to do all these nice things, like find out who your ancestors are, find out what diseases you will have in the future. Well, whenever like a percentage they think is enough does it, they will make the switch to have everyone do it. So that's just how it go. That's just how they do it in the past with other things too. So it's like even like they did in the past with bank cards here too. Like cash money, and they abolish cash money in a lot of shops, saying like this is PIN only, because at first they were like promoting it. Everyone voluntarily started using these bank cards, which are super useful, of course. And then at like when 90% or something started were using it, they introduced this whole digitalized banking system on us. So that's the thing.
Right, but what do you think this COVID is that they're pushing on everybody? You think that they're not they just did the census in the United States, but now they're doing the second census by doing this COVID, and they're trying to mandate everybody getting it. And I mean, they're tracking everything to do with COVID. And it's the same.
They're going to give you a health chip and everything.
That's DNA too. The minute you stick that swab in your nose, they got your DNA.
Yeah, and they're going to give you a health chip and everything, and it's going to be normalized, because a lot of people will voluntarily do it for like these weird benefits it has. It's interesting to find out who your ancestors are, like with your DNA. Is interesting. So there's a lot of people who want to do that. And it's also interesting to find out like what kind of diseases can you possibly get in the future.
Well, it'll be a travel. It'll be a travel document. That's what it'll be.
Yeah, I know. But so if enough people just voluntarily submit it for those reasons, it becomes so normal in society that it becomes very easy to introduce the whole health thing for travel, etc. too, without enough resistance against it. Because the step is small, right? The step is small.
It's like the snitching and the FBI, where it's like the FBI is like, we need help identifying this rioter from the Capitol 6 insurrection. It's like, bitch, the FBI doesn't need your fucking help. They're just training you to snitch.
Yeah. You just need critical mass with things, right? You can't just introduce this whole... You would never be able to introduce like a health chip out of nothing. You have to first... make everyone chip their dogs, chip their children, as many as possible. Use chips for banking, travel, and everything. They have to be so used to it, and then you introduce it.
Like don't ever chip your dog.
That's true.
A lot of people chip.
Don't ever chip your dog.
I'm tired, so I'm gonna jump out. Have a good night.
Good night,
AK.
Take care, AK.
No, don't ever chip your dog, though, because my girlfriend had a dog that she only had for about a year, and she had it chipped, and she ended up, giving it away to some other owner, and like 3 years later, it bit somebody, and then all of a sudden, some lawyers are trying to sue her for the dog biting this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but like, okay, so, yeah, you have to do like... If you're like an authoritarian government, like what we're dealing with right now, they have to make sure there is not enough resistance. The majority of people, better yet, like above like 75%, has to be willing to do it. And then this minority you can easily take care of by just saying like, yeah, they are just the weirdos, conspiracy theorists, whatever, like religious people. They are not like the normal people. So we just treat them as less normal, etc. And then, yeah. And they will feel.
They call them Uyghurs.
Yeah, well, we all will start feeling less normal, and many of us will like move to the other side, and in the end, like only like the hardcore freaks like us will remain. So that's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of like when South Korea did that tournament down there with Go, and Chinese lost the tournament to the AI.
Yeah.
And Go, they ended up losing Go. All of a sudden, China got really interested in AI, and now they're 10 years ahead of everybody in the world. They got the Uyghurs over there to where they've got you in virtual prisons,
China can move
Your
real
money
fast.
only works here. It'll only work on public transportation to go here. You can't eat but here.
China can move real fast.
It shuts everything down.
They use every QR codes to pay for everything too. There, everything's automated. It's like,
And that's how they're keeping
Oh
the
yeah,
Uyghurs
well they're bringing
over
that
there.
here too, with the whatchamacallit, the like clerkless stores and the self checkout self like not just the super self checkout, but stuff where like they have these Amazon store things where you pick stuff up and then you don't even have to like manually scan anything or get a clerk to scan it. You just walk out the store with
Yeah,
your
that's
stuff.
Amazon.
And then, yeah, the Amazon thing.
Facial recognition.
Yeah, well,
they actually started that like 5 years ago in a city that I lived in, Orlando, which I don't live there. I moved out of there a long time ago. But they started. That was one of the 2 cities in the United States that Amazon started the facial recognition with. And of course, they were saying, well,
where
this is just
Disney
for
World
study
is.
purposes only, and they'll never be used. That's what they were saying. This
Where's
just
Disney World
just a
is.
test trial. Yeah. Oh, Disney never does nothing wrong, but
Oh,
they
yeah.
got missile
Nothing wrong with-
silos on Disney property. But
Nothing wrong with Disney whatsoever.
But anyway, the facial recognition, the Chinese are so far ahead in this that it's not even, they put everything that they had the last 5 or 6 years into this, into, the AIs, and their whole country is controlled. They can, you can't even go out of your neighborhood if they don't want you to. And they don't have to have no police or nothing, but yeah, it is coming here to the United States, and it's crazy because people that, like I said, this whole, virus deal is nothing but doing a census. The people that didn't actually send them back are going in nasal swab or something.
Yeah, and we have to realize also that if we move to a global society, whatever, that not all the countries are going to be like us. We're going to be more like some other powerful countries, and that is China, right? In this case, so we're going to adopt their things and not the other way around. We have to realize that where the superpowers are now there, so we're going to have that whole social credit score system soon here too, everywhere.
It's gonna be the worst part of both superpowers.
Yeah, but I've seen it.
Well, they're basically from the time you start school anyway. Right now, they're basically telling you what you're gonna. They're directing your whole life to what you are gonna become.
Oh yeah, well they just put what was it, like 500? It was more than that, but they just put a shit ton of school kids in Ethiopia right on the blockchain. So they can track their development and, their future career plans and da-da-da. And, obviously the data is being kept by freaking what's their called, Cardano or something like
Bill
that.
Gates. It is Cardano. I mean, I heard actually got a bunch of their crypto, but
Yeah,
because they're going to go big.
Yeah. Yeah, but actually, I saw it.
No, they are routing your futures, and they're not just they're doing it before some kids are even born, because now they're having all this data and the DNA collected, like you were talking about with your health, your mental health, your physical health, your everything, your whole life, 4 generations back. They can pretty well tell who's going to be the Einsteins and who's going to be the worker ants, and that's pretty well how they're separating them.
Yeah, but so you can see how fast it goes too, because I saw this happen in front of me when I went to London. I told you this before, Glory. When I was leaving my own country, right? There was all these people still in the supermarkets, like behind the cash registers, right? I could just pay with my cash money and buy something. I went to London, and there was all these automated machines, like only with your bank card you could pay. Everything was automated. There was no one standing behind the cash register, nothing. They were just working in the store, but everything was with these machines and stuff. Now, that is all fine. There's a difference. But then I came back within 1 month, and everything changed in my own country to exactly that. And it was exactly the same. Like all the supermarkets had these same automated cash. There was even the same machines, like the same colors, everything. And I was thinking like, okay, this is really fast. And it was all during when
It's coming.
Yeah, well, the COVID stuff.
Oh, it's here.
Yeah, it's here already. Like, and they switched
it's here and coming.
Yeah, no, but what I mean, like, the switch was so fast that it's all pre-planned. I can tell you that. Because they're not going to order these machines and like in
they've
weeks.
been telling us.
Yeah, but
McDonald's is a really good source of this. They built. This is the second one. They replaced the world's biggest McDonald's with a new world's biggest McDonald's out by Disney World. And when you walk in, it's all kiosk. The kiosks look at you, and they'll even say your name. They'll say hi, and they'll say your name. And they'll ask you if you want the same thing that you had before or you want something new. You know, they already know what you want.
Yeah, I know the kiosk things you're talking about because I've seen them at airports before.
But now these are in McDonald's, and it's like they know what you want. I mean, they're already, and they suggest to you if you don't want that, they suggest to you the stuff that you do like. They'll leave off the other part, like if you don't like the pickles and onions, they'll leave that out of there and try to throw you a fudge sundae or something. But I mean, it's getting crazy, and people don't really realize how rampant it is every day that when you do something that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because every city they're putting up these cameras. Everybody's got cameras now. And it's like, I don't know. It's changed a lot, and it's kind of scared me a little bit. It's like I'm not used to it. That's why I live way out in the swamp. I don't even have internet. I got to use hot spots and satellites to get out of the swamp. But
then, God forbid, a storm comes through.
Then I got another hot spot for that. Been doing it a long time. But
oh man, that's right. So much fucking hurricanes.
Yeah, I live in the hurricane capital of the world, I think.
Well, I know Florida's the lightning capital.
I did live in the 1 square mile. I had 40 acres that I lived on. It was in the 1 square mile of the most lightning strikes in the United States, and I got hit 7 times in 5 years, wiped out all my computers, servers, ham radios, TVs, phones, toasters, microwaves. And I'm glad they ended up selling that property. Now it's a bunch of townhomes. Somebody else can get hit by that shit.
Yeah, I think I know my house has never been hit by lightning, but my school, like the school I was at, has been hit by lightning before. They once had to postpone letting us out because it was lightning so bad, and then another time they had to do that as well because a tornado touched down on our school too. So
yeah, you're on the West Coast, right? Right?
I go to school on the West Coast, but I'm from Florida.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Florida then. I mean, 3:30 every day. It's thunder and lightning. I mean, that's
you
from
can't
May
even trust
May
the
to
weather reports because it's like, it'll be 88 degrees, but 98% humidity, so feels like 117, and we'll have spotty thunderstorms. So,
yeah, I want to be a meteorologist in Florida because all you got to do is from May to November, just say 50% chance of rain and thunderstorms every day.
Yeah,
that's all you got to say.
It's literally the easiest job ever. I actually wanted to be a meteorologist at one point in my life too. I would do the whole storm tracker thing whenever we thought a hurricane was gonna hit.
Yeah, we get a lot of them. That one just came through here. I was right on the edge of it. I got a bunch of that crap from the first one, the earliest one of the year. It come right by me, and it's like, okay, I didn't do enough.
Oh, yeah.
It ended up tearing up more, flooding up north than it did anything else. But I know we're going to have a busy year this year. And, it is from climate change, but not man-made climate change, I don't believe. I just believe that climate changes. Like we had the ice age, and now we're starting to get warmer again. It's like that cycle of the 10,000 years or whatever, and it's
Yeah,
hot.
well, I mean, regardless of, yeah, like where you think it came from, I mean, the ocean temperatures are undoubtedly rising, which what leads to kind of the increase in these like bigger, longer hurricanes.
Well, that's true because I mean, the Earth's got its wobble. Um, we get closer to sun certain phases, and at certain times when we start wobbling, that's when we get into these cycles, and that's been going on for billions of years. I mean, we could be the millionth generation of people sitting here talking online right now, and we don't even know that, because everything get destroyed. I mean, you figure if we're gone, and what's going to be here in 5,000 or 100,000 years? There's not going to be anything.
What's going to be here in, the next 5 billion years when the sun runs through its whole cycle?
Oh, I agree, but I mean, how do we know this hasn't happened several times? I mean, we're like a blink of an eye, and we're not even a blink of an eye on the history of the Earth.
No, we're not.
Okay, guys, let's end this episode. We can go live tomorrow again.
All right.
Did we cover everything? No, you have to quickly do the Free Commander X announcement for the 20th.
Yeah, well, I know I did that once, but I'll do it again. July 20th, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. East Coast time, and then 6 p.m. in the Netherlands is when Commander X's first court hearing is. You can attend via video conference, or you can call in, and we'll make sure to get the link out on at FreeCommanderX_ on Twitter. That's the account you can follow for updates. You can also go to freecommanderx.org for more updates on that. In San Jose, California, the location where he's scheduled to have court, there will be a protest there, and it will be outside the federal courthouse, which is the Robert Peckham Federal Building on 280 South First Street at noon. That's and the other action taking place in solidarity with that is 10 a.m. outside the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City. So, July 20th, hashtag Free Commander X Day. And, always remember the anonymous PSA to spam neuter your politicians and lobbyists and bankers and military contractors and royalty.